Chapter 827. Transcendent Realm 2nd Level. Yeah, and I'm afraid he caused a huge fuss this time. This Ma Yuanlong is so arrogant. In addition to his invincible Transcendent Realm 1st level strength, there is another major reason. His brother Ma Yuanfeng is the captain of the city guard. His strength has already reached Transcendent Realm 3rd level. Fortunately, he is out patrolling and has not returned, but he will be back tomorrow at the latest. If I were Yi Shiwen, I would leave hurriedly. Although the Ying-Xian city gate was enormous, it could only be considered a borderland in the ancient baron's mainland. There was no strong master. The undisputed strongest ace, the city lord, was only Transcendent Realm 5th level. Transcendent Realm 3rd level could be considered one of the best. No matter how others discussed it, Yi Shiwen didn't care. 2 consecutive battles in one day made his realm protruding for advancement. As if it had been suppressed for a long time, it finally started to explode now. Not only the Star Beast avatar, but even his real self was eager for action. He initially didn't want to stay here for long. He wanted to leave here immediately, since saving the trouble of such things would not do any harm. But now he could feel that he would soon be unable to suppress his realm advancement anymore. He should at least choose either one to break through for it to be possible. Of course, both of them would have a breakthrough sooner or later, but there was not enough time. Ma Yuanlong's brother would be back shortly. As if he would let Yi Shiwen off the hook once he returned? What a troublesome matter. After thinking about it, Yi Shiwen decided to let Star Beast Avatar have a breakthrough first. Now, Star Beast Avatar could be regarded as truly invincible in Transcendent Realm 1st level. Even many Transcendent Realm 2nd level masters could not oppose him. Once he broke through to Transcendent Realm 2nd level, his combat power would skyrocket. He might skip a level altogether and become able to compete directly with the Transcendent Realm 3rd level master. He was off to a good start. Although he had not spent many years cultivating, he had been significantly suppressed in the true martial domain. While he felt very depressed in the true martial domain, it was not unbeneficial. The benefit was that his foundation was exceptionally stable. Now that he had entered the ancient baron's mainland, he was approaching ascension. This was also true for his real self. He had not cultivated for very long, but due to factors such as his various adventures and martial techniques, his progress in every realm could be regarded as being off to a good start with a stable foundation. If he chose to break through his real self first when the time came to face Ma Yuanfeng, he would have to flee in embarrassment. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen had an idea and immediately went to a nearby inn. Damn boy, I won't let you off the hook. My brother will let you die a graveless death. Ma Yuanlong's roar came from behind. Disabling his martial arts was more unbearable than killing him. Yi Shiwen had the urge to turn around and kill him on the spot, but the feeling of being on the verge of a breakthrough in his body was becoming stronger. He couldn't be bothered about this Ma Yuanlong. Ma Yuanlong, whose martial arts were disabled, was just a nobody. Elder, look, Yi Shiwen hasn't left yet and even entered an inn. Is he planning to stay in the inn? Is he crazy? The unparalleled palace's disciples said in disbelief. He kept watching Yi Shiwen, so he knew where Yi Shiwen was going, but at that moment, he couldn't hide his surprise. From his perspective, since Yi Shiwen had not left yet, could he be waiting for Ma Yuanfeng to return? Xun Yanmei also looked at Yi Shiwen anxiously. At that moment, she wanted to go down and remind Yi Shiwen to leave. These matters have nothing to do with us. After eating, we will rush back to Unparalleled Palace. Let's not complicate matters. The elder said mildly. Yi Shiwen was not from Unparalleled Palace, so there was no need to worry about him. Yes, all the disciples responded. Yi Shiwen entered an inn and asked for a room. Suddenly, as he was about to enter, there was a clear voice in his mind. Yi Shiwen, you should leave quickly. You are in huge trouble. That big bad guy Ma Yuanlong has an older brother who is very powerful. You may not be able to oppose him. It's Xun Yanmei. Yi Shiwen did not expect Xun Yanmei would transmit her voice to him. He couldn't help but smile, and his heart couldn't help warm up. At that moment, many people were waiting for him to be ridiculed, but the only one giving him reminders was Xun Yanmei. Don't worry. I can handle it. Yi Shiwen replied, and then stepped into the room. Above the restaurant, Shen Yanmei pouted her mouth and glanced angrily at the inn where Yi Shiwen was in. I kindly reminded him, but he didn't listen. Yi Shiwen certainly didn't know Shen Yanmei's indecisiveness now. After he entered the room, he laid down layers of barriers, and then directly entered Tianyuan Mirror. As soon as he entered Tianyuan Mirror, the Star Beast avatar couldn't bear it, and changed back into its true form. The true form was over 10,000 feet long. Even half the space inside Tianyuan Mirror was obscured. In his body, countless laws and insights began to emerge. The mana and qi surrounding him swept into a giant cocoon. At that moment, even Yi Zaiwen's main body was motionless. All the spirits were drawn into the Star Beast avatar to control this breakthrough. If this were an ordinary breakthrough, it would not be to this extent. However, this was a cumulative breakthrough. It was like a flood that was being stopped by a dam about to wash down all at once. Its power was terrifyingly strong. Waves of qi kept hitting the barrier of the Transcendent Realm's second level in his body. This was the first time he tried to strive for the Transcendent Realm's second level. From the moment he entered the Transcendent Realm, he was told that he could only cultivate until the Transcendent Realm first level at most. Furthermore, in the true martial domain, the Transcendent Realm first level barrier was practically like a chasm that was utterly impossible to cross, so he never tried to break through. This was the first time he strived for the Transcendent Realm second level, and yet he daringly planned to directly break through to the realm of Transcendent Realm second level in one go. Although Yi Shiwen had a hunch that the time for the breakthrough was approaching, the realm of Transcendent Realm second level was like a dam. No matter how he washed over it, he couldn't break it. The first breakthrough failed. However, Yi Shiwen got a feel of the situation. At that moment, the Mingxin ancient tree began to bloom with colorful divine light, covering the entire Star Beast. Covered by the Mingxin ancient tree, Yi Shiwen suddenly felt clarity in his spirits. He was initially in an anxious mood, but he immediately calmed down. His mind was like still water, uncontaminated by dust. This was the Mingxin ancient tree's most prominent function, which was to keep people's minds in a state of calmness at all times. In other words, whenever they cultivated, they could maintain the best cultivation state. In fact, ordinary people would sometimes be in a good state and sometimes in a bad state. When they were in a good state, they could break through a few levels in a flash, but they might not have any breakthroughs for decades if they were in a bad state. Every breakthrough and cultivation consumed spirits. Once it was overconsumed, or if there was no progress for a long time, then it might develop into anxiety, or even in severe cases, it might become qi deviation. But for Yi Shiwen, who possessed the Mingxin ancient tree, these were no problems. With the Mingxin ancient tree, he could keep his spirits in the peak state almost all the time. The colorful divine light shone down. Yi Shiwen consumed a little spirit to replenish it a bit, and he was in the peak state anytime, anywhere. And at that moment, the mysterious space in his main Bodhi's mind was also infused with a large amount of spiritual energy, releasing colorful divine light that enveloped the Star Beast avatar. The various martial techniques and secret techniques that belonged to the Star Beast bloodline were instantly deduced to perfection. Also, all the insights from multiple realms were all infused into the Star Beast avatar. These insights and understandings had now become Yi Zaiwen's best helpers. He soon regrouped his forces and once again directed qi to strive for Transcendent Realm second level. Although he failed the previous time, he was not discouraged at all. The Mingxin ancient tree kept his spirits clear at all times, and the mysterious space was constantly deducing all kinds of insights to perfection, and branding them into his spirit. There were also over 100 million spirit crystals, and a dragon vein that could be converted into spiritual energy at any time, continuously replenishing the qi he consumed. Success is only a matter of sooner or later. This was his most immense capital. Failed for the second time. Failed for the third time. Failed for the fourth time. Failed for the fifth time. Yi Shiwen didn't know how many times he had failed. He had already become numb. For ordinary people, it was difficult to fail once and want to try again, so this close cultivation was often measured in years. It was like how Mu Shengjia only came out after more than 20 years of close cultivation. However, Yi Shiwen was not the case. He paid no attention to anything and just kept striving for it. If he failed, he tried again. Every attempt was continuous, but because he was in excellent state, each attempt was like the first. Although he didn't break through, with Yi Zaiwen's constant pursuits, the barrier became thinner and thinner. Finally, after an unknown amount of time had passed, he trembled and the qi finally broke through the entire barrier. It was completely flattened by a force at lightning speed. It should be known that an average person often required time to solidify the cultivation after a breakthrough, because there was still some realm barrier left. If one was not careful, the realm may even regenerate, and then the cultivation would regress one level. But Yi Shiwen smashed all the barriers in the instant he broke through, which solidified the cultivation of Transcendent Realm second level straightaway, eliminating the need to solidify the cultivation. The surging power was boiling in his body. He now had the urge to roar at the sky. Suddenly, he noticed a tyrannical spiritual sense that swept through his room outside, and all the defensive arrays were broken in an instant. Chapter 828. The shock of the masters in the city. Yi Shiwen opened his eyes. What is coming will come anyway. Above the inn, a dozen people were lined up horizontally in the sky, all of them in black iron heavy armor. The leader was a general who appeared about 30 years old, and somewhat resembled Ma Yuanlong. A boundless aura rolled off his body. This was a terrifying force. A boundless killing intent swept through. Such a terrifying momentum suddenly shocked many people. Is he Ma Yuanfeng? He is back. He must be here to trouble that person named Yi Shiwen. He's truly terrifying. The Transcendent Realm third level strength is practically unrivaled except for the city lord and a few clan heads. That person is doomed. Even after disabling Ma Yuanlong's martial arts, he has the guts to be reckless and not leave. Isn't he seeking his own death? Yes, the brothers Ma Yuanlong and Ma Yuanfeng have a very good relationship. Otherwise, Ma Yuanlong would not be so arrogant and overbearing. Now that Ma Yuanlong's martial art has been disabled, how could Ma Yuanfeng not come to exact revenge? Ma Yuanfeng did not hide his body at all. It covered everywhere within a dozen-mile radius. Boom! A figure jumped out of the inn and flew into the air, facing Ma Yuanfeng from a distance. So, you are the one who disabled my brother's martial arts? Ma Yuanfeng forcibly suppressed his anger. Through the armor, his voice was hollow and laced with a bit of anger. That's right. Yi Shiwen nodded. How dare you? A fierce light flickered in Ma Yuanfeng's eyes. Yi Shiwen had been very ruthless, disabling the Dantian altogether and crushing it into chaos. Ma Yuanfeng could not even heal Ma Yuanlong. He got what he asked for. Yi Shiwen said coldly. It is because as his brother you spoiled him. If not for your support, how could he have become so arrogant? How many people have died in his hands in the past? This is nothing more than retribution. If you are saying someone hurt him, then it is you, his brother, who hurt him. Are you looking for death? Are you trying to irritate me? How can those nobodies compare to my brother? Ma Yuanfeng's anger was almost unsuppressible, and the killing intent in his eyes enveloped Yi Shiwen. Perhaps those people were nobodies in your eyes. In my eyes, your brother is simply a nobody too. Yi Shiwen said coldly as if he was trying to provoke Ma Yuanfeng deliberately. How dare you think of my brother as a nobody? Ma Yuanfeng laughed due to rage. What's the matter? Is your city lord also coming to subdue me? Yi Shiwen glanced at the people surrounding Ma Yuanfeng and said. Those around him were guards, who were all masters from the city. It would be fine if it were just Ma Yuanfeng, but the situation would be different if the city lord mansion were involved. You don't need to goad them. I sought you out today because of a private matter. This has nothing to do with the city lord mansion, said Ma Yuanfeng. Yi Shiwen breathed a sigh of relief. Generally speaking, the city lord mansion would not become involved in these things because these young people, although their current cultivation was not superb, they had unlimited potential. No one could limit their future achievements. If one really angered them, that person would most likely get into trouble in the future. If that's the case, then come with me. Yi Shiwen stomped his foot straight away, and his figure suddenly lashed out. He changed into a stream of light and flew directly into the sky. Where are you going? Ma Yuanfeng snorted coldly and chased after him. Although he was wearing heavy armor, his speed was not slow at all. The terrifying strength of Transcendent Realm 3rd level was vividly demonstrated at that moment. In midair, Yi Shiwen slowed down, and Ma Yuanfeng caught up. He stared at Yi Shiwen coldly and said, "I'm going to disable your martial arts top, then cut off your limbs and hang them at the city gate. See if anyone else will still dare behave presumptuously here." The horrible aura from Ma Yuanfeng's body spread out, tightly enveloping Yi Shiwen. It was like a vast ocean, endless. "Cut off my limbs? Just because of these words of yours, you are done for today." Yi Ziwen's eyes flickered with light, and the golden divine light instantly crawled all over his body, as if he was wearing a golden robe. A domineering aura spread out, colliding fiercely with Ma Yuanfeng's aura, not giving way at all. "I'm done for? Arrogance. Where do you think this is? Do you think we are still in your original small world?" Ma Yuanfeng smiled coldly, his wild aura spread all around him. During this period of time, he also found out about Yi Ziwen's origin. He was another genius who hailed from a small world. He had just arrived, that was why he was so reckless and arrogant. He was probably this way because he was used to being reckless in his original world. He looked down upon Yi Shiwen. Perhaps he was a genius in his original world, and his future was promising, but unfortunately not here and not now. What is there to fear about an enemy with huge potential? Just throttle him early on. The very same day next year will be your death anniversary. Ma Yuanfeng roared loudly and summoned a long spear in his hand. The entire air began to boil. Wherever the spear passed through, countless clouds were minced in an instant. His figure leapt out, the spearhead instantly releasing a terrifying shot instantly. He rushed all the way down from the sky, and tried to stab Yi Shiwen to death on the spot. Yi Shiwen took a step back and stomped hard. The space he passed through was vibrating intensely. Instead of evading, he rushed straight up. He squeezed his fingers into a fist, and the shattered star fist blasted out in an instant. The fist turned into a huge star in the sky and collided fiercely with the spear. It was a terrifying collision. Both sides used all their strength and did not hold back. With the collision point as the center, a terrible storm quickly formed and swept out in all directions. When the storm cleared, Yi Shiwen stepped back 2 steps. Only then did he slowly stop his footsteps. In the previous exchange of blows, Yi Shiwen was at a disadvantage, but Ma Yuanfeng's eyes widened. "Impossible. You are a mere Transcendent Realm 2nd level. How were you able to oppose me?" Ma Yuanfeng couldn't believe it. Although the gap between Transcendent Realm 3rd level and Transcendent Realm 2nd level was not as big as the gap between half-step Transcendent Realm and Transcendent Realm, it was still substantial. Although he heard that some geniuses could fight someone above their levels, he never thought that one would appear right before him. Contrasted with Ma Yuanfeng's disbelief, Yi Shiwen, who was knocked back, instead became a little excited. This fight turned out as he expected. Although he was only Transcendent Realm 2nd level, he was definitely able to contend with the 3rd level masters. Whether it was in terms of chi saturation, combat skills or physical strength, Yi Shiwen was still above Ma Yuanfeng despite being Transcendent Realm 2nd level only. His Star Beast avatar itself was far beyond a normal person. This made him excited instantly. He became truly confident. Not to mention he had not truly integrated the power that belonged to the Transcendent Realm 2nd level yet. Once it was fully integrated, he could even destroy this Ma Yuanfeng. However, Ma Yuanfeng was only stunned for a moment. He immediately followed up with a cold snort. "Let me see how long you can last." Flying Scorpion Divine Spear Scripture. His long spear rushed over immediately, changing into a huge scorpion in midair. It swooshed down on the spot. The long spear tip turned into a dangerous flying scorpion's stinger and impaled downward. Yi Shiwen could feel a puff of poison rushing towards his face. Although he knew it was condensed from qi, it obviously had Ma Yuanfeng's own essence. Under Ma Yuanfeng's control, it was no different from a real flying scorpion. Yi Shiwen blasted out a punch. It was nothing fancy, just an ordinary punch. The fist was like a star in the sky, piercing through the vast sky as if about to shatter it. Ding! The stinger of the flying scorpion impaled the fist on the spot. Only a crisp sound of collision could be heard, but the stinger seemed to have pierced through the surface of water, and Yi Zaiwen's fist became rippled with gold. Immediately after the offensive attacks from both sides, Yi Zaiwen's fist slammed into the flying scorpion's body with an overwhelming force. Boom! There was a loud bang. The collision of terrifying powers formed circles of energy waves. The flying scorpion's outer shell broke on the spot, and the whole flying scorpion was crushed into two halves by Yi Zaiwen's fist. This newcomer is so powerful. He only just arrived, but he is actually on par with Commander Ma. We haven't seen such a powerful newcomer for many years, right? Yes, but no. Our fort is very small, and we are only connected to a few small worlds. It is not comparable to other forts that are connected to the big worlds. Those are the places where monsters will actually appear. It is said that some are already Transcendent Realm 5th level, and 6th level the moment they appear. A real monster is already at the peak of the Transcendent Realm the moment they appear. That's a real monster. But even so, this is also impressive. I heard that he refused the recruitment of Unparalleled Palace and Crimson Peak Villa. But also, with his powerful strength, maybe he will have chances to join other sects of higher level. Well, but it depends on who wins and who loses. As of now, they appear to be on par. Ma Yuanfeng's offense was unexpectedly wiped out by Yi Shiwen on the spot, which immediately attracted the attention of countless masters in the fort. It should be known that in this city, although there were no top masters, there were still many Transcendent Realm masters. The battle between Yi Shiwen and Ma Yuanfeng attracted the attention of countless people. Even ordinary people were equipped with martial arts. Yi Shiwen and Ma Yuanfeng being on par left them in shock at once. Chapter 829. Beheading Ma Yuanfeng as the city gate leader. Ma Yuanfeng would naturally not be weak. Besides the superior city lord, who was Transcendent Realm 5th level peak, and a few other major clan chiefs who were Transcendent Realm 4th level, Ma Yuanfeng was undeniably an outstanding master in the city. Now he unexpectedly could not handle Yi Shiwen. Ma Yuanfeng was already thousands of years old, while this Yi Shiwen did not seem to be even 1,000 years old, and looked quite young. If you can contend with Ma Yuanfeng, then your genius title is not fake. You expectedly still have a few tricks. Ma Yuanfeng stared at Yi Shiwen coldly. But if this is all you're capable of, you will die today. Killing intent flashed through Ma Yuanfeng's eyes. His face was cruel and cold. Boom! Ma Yuanfeng launched a long spear in an instant. The flying scorpion swooshed and rushed toward Yi Shiwen. With every tremble, the spear tip could pierce the sky, like an invincible Greek master rushing to kill. Yi Shiwen acknowledged that this might be the most terrifying master he had ever encountered since his debut. This was a terrifying master he could never have encountered when he was in the true martial domain. However, if this master was on the same level as Li Feng and Big Dipper Constellation Emperor, Yi Shiwen could not hold a candle to him at the moment, and even masters who surpassed Transcendent Realm could not either. As for why they possessed such terrifying combat power, Yi Shiwen also didn't know. Everyone had their secrets. Yi Shiwen could not possibly investigate all the secrets, but nevertheless, there must be a reason. However, the stronger the opponent, the more they could make Yi Zaiwen's blood boil. His path could only grow further by constantly defeating stronger masters. He could make it from the true martial domain to the ancient barons' mainland by constantly defeating stronger masters, defeating opponents who were more talented and more ruthless, and continually challenging powerhouses. Try me. Yi Shiwen laughed loudly. The robe imbued with golden divinity sheltering his body was boiling, and his fist flashed with terrifying light in the void. He collided with Ma Yuanfeng with no reservation. Boom, boom, boom. The overall strength of the two seemed to be on par. Ma Yuanfeng's power realm was ahead of Yi Shiwen, but Yi Shiwen was not inferior to Ma Yuanfeng, whether it was qi or physical strength or other aspects. On the flip side, Yi Shiwen might be even more potent than him. Terrifying radiance glittered every time the two exchanged blows. The shockwave erupted from the battle, even swept downwards. The city formation was triggered by its own to shield off the possible damage from the shockwave. Although Ma Yuanfeng used a spear, he employed a bizarre and erratic movement technique. He was like an assassin in the dark, waiting for the critical moment to deliver a fatal blow to the opponent, just like a scorpion's stinger. But Yi Shiwen was different. Yi Shiwen took a domineering path instead. His unparalleled tyranny, just like a mighty overlord. Ma Yuanfeng had no way out when facing such an opponent. As Yi Shiwen gradually adapted to Transcendent Realm second-level combat power, slowly, he began to lose his upper hand. As an assassin, he had to wait in the dark to deliver a fatal blow to the opponent. However, in front of Yi Shiwen, it was like he had encountered a tortoise, and there was no opening for him. In terms of speed, he was not as fast as Yi Shiwen. His so-called bizarre and erratic movement technique was a laughingstock when faced with Yi Ziwen's speed. Moreover, Yi Ziwen's physical body was too strong, and it was covered with divinity. Even if his long spear pierced Yi Ziwen's body, it would not be able to break the defense at all. Ma Yuanfeng was helpless to encounter a bizarre opponent. In a short period, they exchanged over 1,000 blows. The more they battled, the more frightened he was. How can there be such a person? As far as he knew, no one could be the best in all aspects. Yet Yi Shiwen had completely overturned his perception. Toward the end of the fight, both sides only used simple moves to strike. There were no more flowery tricks. In other words, the initiative of the whole battle had fallen into Yi Ziwen's hands, and was now beyond Ma Yuanfeng's control. Basically, however Yi Shiwen wanted to fight, Ma Yuanfeng had to match him. Yi Ziwen's fighting style was very simple. It was straightforward and direct. With each strike on the opponent's body, it kept throwing the question of whether to be on guard or not. To parry or not to parry. If I don't parry, he will kill me on the spot. If I parry, I will fall into Yi Ziwen's control, and be forced to follow his rhythm. In the city, countless people who were spectating this battle were shocked. Previously, it was a surprise for Yi Shiwen to be able to contend with Ma Yuanfeng, but now he had forced Ma Yuanfeng into a complete disadvantage. What kind of situation is this? Is this newcomer this strong already? Bang! Ma Yuanfeng was blasted by Yi Ziwen's fist once again. Although Ma Yuanfeng managed to dissipate the majority of the impact, he still suffered some injuries. There was some blood dripping at the corners of his mouth. His eyes were dark and cold, but his arms were shaking. Yi Shiwen was too powerful. Just one smash could break apart the Higu Acupoint 1. Yi Shiwen sneered and squeezed his fingers into a fist. With a crisp sound, the sound of cracking bones came from Ma Yuanfeng's whole body. Sure enough, battling was the source of progress. After this battle, he finally integrated his strength to its best. In other words, he was already able to control the strength of the Transcendent Realm second level. He initially thought it would take a while. He didn't expect it to be so soon. I still want to thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to control my strength after a breakthrough so quickly. Yi Shiwen grinned. But it should stop here. Yi Shiwen yelled, and his figure jumped out in an instant. At this moment, a long sword suddenly appeared in his hand. It was composed of a sword will. Instantly, a gust of shocking sword will manifested in the sky, growing bigger. It was growing with the wind as if it was about to poke a large hole in the universe. Invincible sword. Boom! That terrifying sword will swoosh down in an instant. Ma Yuanfeng didn't even have time to dodge before the sword will struck him. A long slash was inflicted on his chest with his ribs completely slashed by the sword will. Boom! At last, Ma Yuanfeng was unable to resist the strange power incorporated into the sword will. He flew out on the spot. At the moment he flew, the sword will rushed into his body. His physical body burst open on the spot, turning into a cluster of blood mist. A ball of blood light suddenly emerged from Yi Ziwen's body. The blood light assimilated the blood mist cluster on the spot. It's over. Everyone stared at this scene in a daze. In the end, the situation ended up like this. The initially tyrannical Ma Yuanfeng was beheaded and turned into a blood mist on the spot. He had no way to retaliate at all. How can this newcomer be so overwhelming? Which world did he hail from? Yi Shiwen only felt relief after seeing that Ma Yuanfeng successfully beheaded at last. Just now, most of his spiritual senses were placed in the City Lord mansion. He was afraid that the City Lord would also come to the rescue. If it came to that, he could only forcibly kill Ma Yuanfeng and then escape. He was still able to behead Transcendent Realm 3rd level Ma Yuanfeng, but if he faced Transcendent Realm 5th level City Lord, he had no other option besides turning around and fleeing. Moreover, Ma Yuanfeng was the City Lord's subordinate. There was a good reason for him to come to the rescue now, so Yi Shiwen was quite cautious. Fortunately, the worst-case scenario that Yi Shiwen was worried about did not happen. Seeing that Yi Shiwen had some doubts, Yi Mo smiled and said, "What's so strange about this? Although Ma Yuanfeng is his capable subordinate, there is nothing he wouldn't give up compared to someone with unlimited future potential. The takeaway is that he is not sure that he can eliminate you. If he can't eliminate you, the tables can be turned easily. It's not like similar things have never happened. If it's a big sect, they could not care, but they don't have that many masters, nor are they strong. Naturally, they have to think twice about their actions. In other words, if you were only an ordinary Transcendent Realm 1st level, he may have taken action straight away. It would take no effort to crush you. Anyone would know which to choose," said Yi Mo. This young brother, what Ma Yuanfeng did, can only be considered his own personal action. It does not reflect the intentions of our City Lord Mansion. Suddenly, Yi Shiwen received a voice transmission from none other than the City Lord. Yi Shiwen sighed. The powerful were respected everywhere. Only the powerful could make others fear them, and save a lot of trouble. The weak would be wiped out over a small issue. This is the same no matter in which world. This Ma Yuanfeng was the same, and he ended up being abandoned by the City Lord Mansion. Even revenge wasn't worth mentioning. Nevertheless, this was for the best too. It could save a lot of trouble since he didn't have to face the situation of being pursued by the City Lord Mansion. Otherwise, with the City Lord's personality, he would seek revenge in the future. That's good. I don't intend to become an enemy of your city. Let's flip this page over. Yi Shiwen clasped his hands and said in the direction of the City Lord Mansion. That's what I hoped for. I wish the young brother a bright future and a smooth journey, and I wish you to become a household name in the future. The City Lord's voice came from the City Lord Mansion again, but there was no more sound after that. Yi Shiwen didn't care. He was just glad this was over. After Yi Shiwen transformed into a ball of light and landed, he went straight away to find the city's teleportation array. After all, the city gate was not actually in the ancient Baron's mainland when it was first established. It was only to attract geniuses from different worlds. Later, it slowly reached this scale. Also, there was not only just one city gate. There were many worlds in this universe, so there were as many city gates, except there were differences in size. The bigger and more prosperous the connected world, the bigger the city gate. This city gate could only be regarded as a small one. If he wanted to go to the ancient Baron's mainland, he would have to go through the teleportation array here to be able to teleport directly to the ancient Baron's mainland. 1. http://www.acupuncture.com/education/points/large intestine/Li4. H-team. Chapter 830. I want to kill Yi Shiwen quickly found the teleportation array in the city. Patron 1000 spirit crystals please. The person guarding the teleportation array in the city said to Yi Shiwen politely. The reason was simple. They had seen the battle just now. For a remote city like theirs, Yi Shiwen was already regarded as a worthy master, and a great sage like him could not risk offending Yi Shiwen. In the ancient Baron's mainland, a great sage could only be considered an ordinary person. Yi Shiwen didn't hesitate. At this point, 1000 spirit crystals were a drop in the bucket for him, and not worth much at all. After paying 1000 spirit crystals, the teleportation array was quickly activated. A light gate was formed within a ray of light. Yi Shiwen immediately walked into it. Suddenly, Yi Shiwen felt space distortion as if a terrifying force was pulling and twisting him. He knew that this was the legendary spatial ability. It immediately lit up the Tianyuan mirror, protecting him from head to toe within it. Now, Yi Mo fell into a deep sleep once again. He just swallowed all the blood essence of a Transcendent Realm 3rd level master, and needed some time to digest it. During the teleportation, there was no day or night. Yi Shiwen didn't know how much time had passed, but a bright light appeared in front of the eyes. The sound of a noisy market reached his ears, and there was a crowd of people in front of him. Yi Shiwen knew that he had arrived in the ancient barons' mainland. This was another city that connected ancient barons to the city gate, called Lingmen City. This Lingmen City was undoubtedly smaller than that city gate, with a population of about 4 to 5 million. Even so, it was already perfect. If this were Earth, it would be considered a big city. But in the ancient barons' mainland, it didn't seem outstanding. There was the sound of peddling in his ears. People were moving everywhere. As far as he could see, almost all of them were warriors. Besides underage children, even the lowest ones were legendary. The slightly stronger ones were the Sage Realm, and even Great Sage. When the legendary warriors walked on the road, they were cautious and humble. Clearly, they had no social standing. The size of the ancient barons' mainland was hard to imagine. It would not be easy for Yi Shiwen, an outsider, to find Mountain Chi. Now that Wolf Cub was not there, and Yi Mo was in a deep sleep. Even if he wanted to ask someone, he didn't know where to ask. All he could do was go to the city himself and follow the clues. Yi Shiwen shuttled through the crowd. When he passed by an inn, a faint cry for help suddenly reached his ears. Save me, save me. Yi Ziwen's mind suddenly cleared. Shen Yanmei. This was none other than Shen Yanmei's voice. There was no way Yi Shiwen would mishear it. Although he was in a noisy crowd, he was sure that he could not have misheard. Only a voice-infused spirit could be heard from the inn. Otherwise, any inn would have set up a soundproof array, so that sound did not disturb the people outside, and prevent the sounds from outside from disturbing the guests inside. Yi Shiwen didn't hesitate. He rushed into the inn only to find that the entire inn was utterly empty. Obviously, it had been cleared. There was only a group of unparalleled palace disciples who were bowing their heads in silence. Some of them even gritted their teeth and growled in a low voice. It's you? Yi Shiwen. Ko Wendong was the first to see Yi Shiwen coming in from the door. He was shocked. He didn't expect to see Yi Shiwen at this time. From his perspective, Yi Shiwen could not have gotten out of Xian City's city gate. He didn't expect to see him again here. He could feel that Yi Ziwen's vibe was stronger than before. Where is Shen Yanmei? Yi Shiwen asked. The facial expressions of Ko Wendong and other disciples of Unparalleled Palace suddenly stiffened and became unnatural. Tell me what's wrong with her now, said Yi Shiwen anxiously. Yi Shiwen, this is not something you can handle. Leave quickly. Ko Wendong shouted. I want to see what's the thing I cannot handle. Yi Shiwen immediately snorted, emanating spiritual senses. When they encountered the spiritual senses array set up in this inn, they were all shaken away. Suddenly he saw a scene that enraged him. In one of the rooms, Shen Yanmei had been completely stripped and tied back to the bed. On her body, a young man who had also taken off his clothes was rising and falling on top of her. With each rise and fall, some spirit was absorbed from Shen Yanmei's body. At that moment, her face was pale, and she was breathing faintly. Yi Shiwen suddenly became infuriated. Her flower-like smiling face appeared in his mind together with her hearty laughter and critical moment reminders. Seeing this scene almost made him delirious with anger. Some people would do such inhumane things to such an innocent girl. This is what I can't handle. Who is that person upstairs? Could it be your palace young master? Shen Yanmei is your sister disciple. She came from the Navy Tide domain and joined your unparalleled palace because of her dreams. This is how you treat her. Yi Shiwen sneered, unable to conceal the killing intent that enveloped the numerous disciples on the spot. They were mostly Transcendent Realm First Level, or even half-step Transcendent Realm disciples, as if they could withstand the momentum of Yi Ziwen's full power. Suddenly, they felt a terrifying aura much like the pressure of Mountain Taishan fall onto them. It felt like just the momentum could crush them to death. Yi Ziwen's Star Beast avatar would be able to sweep them up in one fell swoop, even when he was at Transcendent Realm First Level. What more now he had improved further and reached Transcendent Realm Second Level. It was even more than what they could bear. Yi Shiwen, what are you trying to do? Shouted the elder of Unparalleled Palace, who just walked in from outside the inn at that moment. With a wave of his hand, he dissipated all of the momentum Yi Shiwen was emanating. You're even asking me what I am doing? That Xin Yanmei joined your unparalleled palace, and this is how you treat her? You let people play with her. If your unparalleled palace is sheltering evil people like this, I am thankful I never joined your unparalleled palace. Yi Shiwen said with a sneer, gritting his teeth. What do you know? What do you know? The unparalleled palace elder yelled, but at the same time, he deliberately lowered his voice, as if he was afraid of disturbing someone. Do you think we want to do this? We have no other choice. When the elder of unparalleled palace spoke, his tone was unusually dejected. Do you know who that person is? That's the youngest son of the North Mountain Clan's chief. Can you afford to anger him? Alright, I forgot. You kid just came from your little world. You don't understand anything. The unparalleled palace elder scolded him exasperatedly. What do you think the ancient baron's mainland is? Still the small world you came from. The world where humans dominate? Humans are just one of many clans in the ancient baron's mainland, not even the most powerful one. Let alone the entire world, spiritual door city, including our unparalleled palace forces, are all located in the southwest of the humans' territory. This is the borderland for the alliance between the human race and the 100 Clan Alliance. This is the wilderness in the eyes of the clansmen. To survive here, we can only choose not to offend the overlord here. The 100 Clan Alliance. This North Mountain Clan is one of the top 10 royal clans in the 100 Clan Alliance, and its clan's head can influence the higher-ups of the 100 Clan Alliance. If we anger a powerful figure like this, the destruction of our unparalleled palace is just a matter of waving a hand. That North Mountain Ling is simply a wicked bastard. He relies on his father's power to do evil. How many people had their lives ruined because of him? But what can we do? If we want to survive, we can only endure it. This is also Yanmei's poor fate. That's why she became the object of affections of the North Mountain Ling. We are helpless too. The unparalleled palace elder revealed the bloody truth to Yi Shiwen. In the ancient baron's mainland, humans were not the top clan. Let alone the overlord, humans did not dominate, unlike in the true martial domain. At the borderland of these two major forces, many human powerhouses had to grovel to survive in the cracks. This was a very realistic problem, one that no one could ignore. We have also suffered. The unparalleled palace elder said with a sigh. Are you finished? Yi Shiwen smiled suddenly. His smile was a little cold and contemptuous. Just because of this, you abandoned her and let her be bullied. What else can we do? If we had a way, I would also want to kill that beast myself. Ko Wendong exploded and yelled at Yi Shiwen, his expression distorted and painful. But what can be done? Haha. Yi Shiwen chuckled. Your blood has run cold, but mine hasn't. Your dignity is broken, but mine aren't. Your knees are bent one, but mine are still straight. Survival is not depending on charity, but striving for it with your own two hands. If the sky hinders me, I will go against the sky. If the earth hinders me, I will break the ground. And if the sea hinders me, I will turn it over. Yi Shiwen was never a person who would succumb. No one's survival depended on other people's charity. Under the original starry sky, how many battles have been experienced by his human ancestors? How many times have they struggled with life and death, fighting against the sky and the beasts, fighting with the native clan? Little by little, how much blood was spilled, how many martyred heroes died before they attained the overload position? It could be said that it was paved with blood and bones. Charity was not handed out to pitiful people. That kind of life was not worth it. Yi Shiwen, what are you trying to do? Don't mess around. You will drag us all down, said the unparalleled palace elder quickly. What is so noisy? A cold shout came from the second floor, followed by a rush of footsteps. Two tall figures appeared in front of Yi Shiwen. They were as strong as two iron pagodas, no different from ordinary human beings, except for their square pupils declaring that they were different. They were guards from the North Mountain Clan. Who are you? Seeing Yi Ziwen's face, the two spoke. Yi Shiwen sneered coldly. He reached out his hand, and he pulled a long saber out of the void. It was the Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber. Whoosh! Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber trembled frantically in his hand. The vast movement even startled Yi Mo, who was in a deep sleep. Yi Shiwen, what are you trying to do? This emergence immortal exterminating saber has not been tamed yet. How can you use it now? I want to kill. 1. An analogy of someone being submissive to the oppressor. Chapter 831. Unleashing Divine Power. I want to kill. Yi Zaiwen's face was somber, almost as if he was growling. He could feel a wave of backlash from the emergence immortal exterminating saber. The emergence immortal exterminating saber was the last resort for the current him, but it was not wholly tamed yet. Even though there was no more weapon spirit to give him trouble, it was not a simple matter to completely brand his spirit onto it. Yi Shiwen could only forcibly use it now. You asked for it. Seeing Yi Zaiwen's murderous aura, the two iron pagod-like strong men knew that he intended to do something, so they immediately rushed over. Chong! An intense blade light bloomed on the emergence immortal exterminating saber. There was a violent shockwave, and the long saber screeched. Yi Shiwen almost lost control of it, and slashed the saber downward on the spot. The emergence immortal exterminating saber automatically formed two terrifying saber auras. He slashed downward wildly, and these two terrifying saber auras obliterated all the two iron pagod-like North Mountain Clan strongmen's attacks on the spot. The saber auras did not falter. They directly slashed toward the two iron pagod-like strongmen on the spot. Puff! Puff! It was the sound of the saber aura entering both of their flesh. The two iron pagod-like strongmen were split in half in one go and died on the spot. Yi Shiwen Yu, the unparalleled palace elder behind Yi Shiwen, was stunned. The elder did not expect Yi Shiwen to do what he said. He was so violent that there was no room for discussion at all. Yi Shiwen ignored the unparalleled palace elder behind him and went straight to the second floor. At that moment, Yi Shiwen saw a scene that enraged him. That North Mountain Ling was already dressed, while Shen Yamiai's spirit had been completely sucked dry and mummified on the other side of the bed. Haha, I didn't expect this human woman to be a virgin still. Although her cultivation was not high, her essence was pure. However, being able to die under my hand is also thanks to the virtue that her ancestors accumulated. Because Yi Shiwen arrived too fast, the North Mountain Ling did not notice that Yi Shiwen had rushed up here. Accumulated virtue? Yi Zaiwen's voice was almost a roar, and the emergence immortal exterminating saber slashed down on the spot. The North Mountain Ling finally realized that something was amiss. He felt an eerie aura approaching him, and became stricken with terror. A shocking saber aura rushed toward him, wanting to cut him in half on the spot. He had no time to react before the saber aura cut into his body. Boom! With a muted impact, the saber aura did not cut the North Mountain Ling's body in half. At that critical moment, the inner armor in his body automatically protected his body. The saber aura shattered the inner armor in an instant. The saber's residual impact was not enough to kill the North Mountain Ling, but the terrifying force threw him away. The North Mountain Ling crashed a massive hole in the wall, and was sent flying out immediately. Yi Shiwen stepped toward the bed. With a big wave of his hand, he retrieved Shen Yamiai's corpse into the Tianyuan mirror. Then, his body immediately leaped out to pursue the North Mountain Ling, who was in the sky. How dare you hurt me? Do you know who I am? The North Mountain Ling widened his eyes in disbelief. Although he did a lot of evil deeds and murdered many households, his cultivation was not high. He dared to walk around freely with two guards because everyone knew and feared his identity, so he could run amok. Nevertheless, he suddenly discovered that his identity was only effective on those afraid of the North Mountain Clan. Encountering a hot-headed person like Yi Shiwen, the gold medal he relied on to protect his body became a complete joke. It's just one dead person. Why do you have so much nonsense to say? Yi Shiwen shouted violently, already rushing in front of the North Mountain Ling's face. The emergence immortal exterminating saber shook intensely, and the air felt like it was boiling and burning. A saber aura slashed downward on the North Mountain Ling's body at a shocking speed. Bang! A colorful robe appeared on the North Mountain Ling's body to protect him. The violent saber aura and colorful robe collided, setting off a terrifying storm. The North Mountain Ling was blasted out again. Before anyone could react, he was blasted directly out of Spiritual Door City like a shooting star. It's useless. You can't kill me. This is the treasure robe that my father personally created for me. You can't break it. You are doomed. You are doomed. I will make you pay. I have never been injured since young, and now you injured me with your own hands. I want to slaughter your family and kill your clan. The North Mountain Ling thundered. He was petrified and also outraged. Meeting someone this stubborn, he naturally had to summon the magic weapon that served him well every day. As soon as he finished speaking, a long sword appeared in his hand. He rushed violently toward Yi Shiwen and ferociously tried to kill him. You have never been injured? Your time simply has not come. Yi Shiwen sneered. For others, this trick might have been able to entrap them. A person couldn't live just for himself in his world. Parents, relatives, and friends were all within consideration. Even Yi Shiwen was no exception, but for him, who was alone and had no kin in the ancient Baron's mainland, this trick was not a deterrent at all. The long sword in the North Mountain Ling's hand sparked with shocking light. It was an exceptional transcendent tool. As if it directly pierced through space on the spot, it practically doubled the North Mountain Ling's speed. Yi Shiwen had to admit that although the North Mountain Ling was arrogant and domineering, his cultivation was exceptionally high. He was afraid that it could be Transcendent Realm 7th level, 8th level, or higher. In short, Yi Shiwen couldn't tell. Under normal circumstances, Yi Shiwen was no match for the North Mountain Ling, but he now had Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber in his hand. This was the treasured saber that once slaughtered the Holy Realm dwellers. Although the Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber might not be able to unleash its original power now, and although Yi Shiwen might not completely master its power, it was enough to get rid of this North Mountain Ling. As if the Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber in Yi Shiwen's hand had been violently provoked by something, a terrifying light burst out on the spot, enveloping Yi Shiwen within it. It quickly spread out in all directions, forming a saber territory. The faint chanting of the Holy Realm dwellers came from it. Yi Shiwen couldn't stand the backlash much longer, and he was about to spit up a mouthful of blood. The stronger the power of Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber, the stronger the backlash he would suffer, and it might even cause some internal injuries. If he didn't have the Phoenix regeneration technique to protect his body and continuously regenerate the wounds from the backlash, if it were an ordinary person who didn't have such a strong healing secret technique instead, he would have died from Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber's backlash. But he had no other choice. He was burning with rage. The path of a warrior was to follow his own heart. If he were suppressed continuously, an inner demon would form sooner or later. Furthermore, he didn't think he was doing anything wrong. There were things that a real man would and wouldn't do. If he were like the unparalleled Palace, afraid of everything, then his passion for martial arts would be ruined, and he wouldn't be able to even dream of any outstanding achievements in the future. The long saber slashed downward almost automatically. It was the Emergence Holy Kingdom crushing downward in the air. The sword momentum in the North Mountain Ling's hand was crushed and minced, and the transcendent tool, the long sword, in his hand also became suppressed by the Holy Kingdom. It broke into pieces instantly and exploded on the spot. Boom! The long sword in the North Mountain Ling's hand exploded in an instant. His palms were blown into pieces, and there was a sudden cry. This is impossible. My sword is already in the standard grade. How could it be broken so easily in your hands? What saber is that in your hands? The North Mountain Ling's eyes widened, and a greedy expression flashed in them. Even at such a time, he did not forget his true colors. Haha, I want this treasured saber. With this treasured saber, I will be able to stand out among the young masters of the 100 Clan Alliance. Any trash standing in my way will be minced to pieces. Find this saber in hell. Yi Shiwen spat a mouthful of blood. Having suffered severe injuries, his face was abnormally flushed, but the saber in his hand did not falter. He slashed the saber directly onto the North Mountain Ling's body. Boom! The North Mountain Ling's colorful robe appeared once again, protecting him, but he was still blasted away. He flew and plunged straight into a cliff, creating a massive crater in the cliff. On the other side of the cliff was the sea. The salty sea breeze blew in his face. Spiritual Door City itself stood by the sea, and now Yi Shiwen had hit the North Mountain Ling there like a ball. Although the colorful robe protected the North Mountain Ling once again, this huge impact could not be eradicated. He still crashed terribly, spurting a mouthful of blood from his mouth, except this time, his gaze became more sinister. He shouted madly, come on, you can't kill me. Your entire clan will die because of you. So thick-head. Yi Shiwen snorted coldly, forcibly resisting the backlash. He brandished his long saber again and delivered a blow. Boom, boom, boom. From the force of the long saber's attack, the entire cliff had been completely turned into a beach. Everything had turned into powder. Every time Yi Shiwen attacked, the colors on the North Mountain Ling's colorful robe faded a bit. Now it was almost transparent, as if one more blow could break through it. At the moment, the North Mountain Ling was finally afraid. Knowing that the next blow might cause him to die by Yi Zaiwen's saber, he felt very embarrassed at that moment. Although the Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber did not kill him directly, he was undoubtedly suffering because of it, becoming severely injured. Suddenly, as Yi Shiwen was about to move his saber, he discovered that the qi in his body had already been exhausted. The Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber's consumption was terrifying. Even his Star Beast avatar's large amount of qi could not support such consumption. He immediately opened Tianyuan Mirror and absorbed the spiritual energy of Dragon Vein into his body. Suddenly, his depleted qi began to regenerate gradually. Accept your death. Today is the day you die. Yi Shiwen shouted. Stop, who dares to hurt my son? Chapter 832. Escaping death. Stop, who dares to hurt my son? A thunderous shout came from a distance. The speaker had yet arrived, but the sound waves alone could cause grievous harm. Just as the sound waves were about to hit Yi Zaiwen's body, the Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber in Yi Zaiwen's hand became violently provoked and began to shoot an intense light, directly obliterating the sound waves. Pfft! Yi Shiwen was also directly injured by this light backlash. For the present Yi Shiwen, Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber was a double-edged sword that hurt the opponent and himself. If he used it well, he could even beat this North Mountain Ling, who was far superior to him. If he didn't use it well, he might get shocked to death by the backlash on the spot. Ha boy, you are dead. I will decimate your corpse and show you that you will be wishing death for offending me. Hearing his father's voice, the North Mountain Ling suddenly shouted with excitement. There was no longer any fear in his eyes when he looked at Yi Shiwen. On the contrary, they were dense with murderous and sinister emotions. Decimate my corpse? Let's only talk if you survive. Yi Shiwen yelled fiercely. He slashed the saber in his hand horizontally again. Wherever the saber passed through, the air boiled violently like boiling water. Boom! This massive blow directly broke open the colorful robe that had become thinner. Boom! Although the colorful robe removed most of the impact, the remaining part still blasted directly into the North Mountain Ling's body. Suddenly, the saber aura exploded madly on his body. There was no whole skin left on his entire body. He didn't know how many bones were broken, and was practically on the brink of death. He had never suffered such severe injuries since he was a child. For him, this was shameful. PFF. Yi Shiwen spat out another mouthful of blood. His face was a little pale. The backlash was too powerful. As he was about to get rid of the North Mountain Ling with another slash, the sonic boom in the sky behind him grew louder. Yi Shiwen, leave quickly. If you don't leave now, there won't be another chance. Yi Mo saw that Yi Shiwen was still a bit unwilling and said, you will still have a chance to come back and kill him in the future, but if you don't leave now, you will be dead. The man behind is too terrifying. I am afraid that he is a master that has already surpassed the transcendent realm. The Emergence Immortal Exterminating Saber in your hands is no match for him. Yi Shiwen gritted his teeth and immediately made a decision. The man behind him got closer, not giving him the opportunity or time to take another shot. He could only shout, North Mountain Ling, when I come back again. It will be when I take your head. As soon as he finished speaking, a pair of wings instantly spread out behind him. His figure leapt dozens of miles almost instantly. Trying to escape? A cold snort came from the sky, and a big hand grabbed the air. It was like a beast's claw, thin and sharp. The big hand was so fast that it was almost moments away from catching Yi Zaiwen's body. The lightning wings behind Yi Shiwen trembled suddenly, and his figure leapt another dozen miles, narrowly avoiding the clutches of this giant hand. Yi Zaiwen's heart was about to jump out. If his reaction had been a step slower just now, he would have been clenched to pieces by that old miser on the spot. "Father, you must avenge me. Catch that bastard. I want his spirit to be tortured forever and ever. And his spirit will never be liberated." The North Mountainling's wailing voice came from behind Yi Shiwen. His tone was full of contempt for Yi Shiwen. He had never suffered such a significant loss ever. "Don't worry, father will never let him off the hook. I will break his body into pieces." The middle-aged voice radiated through the sky. The North Mountainling could only be so arrogant and overbearing because of his father's pampering. Both sides were speedy. In just one moment, they had already rushed into the depths of the sea. Yi Zaiwen's speed was as fast as the North Mountain clan chief behind him. There were a few times Yi Shiwen could feel him getting closer. In Transcendent Realm, Yi Zaiwen's speed was exceptional and unrivaled by anyone in the world, but this North Mountain clan chief's strength surpassed Transcendent Realm. He didn't know what terrifying realm the clan had cultivated, but Yi Shiwen was definitely outmatched. However, fortunately, his lightning wings had been cultivated to the peak. Even the North Mountain clan head behind him could not keep up with his short-distance rapid dash. He escaped the dangerous pursuit several times. However, North Mountain clan chief's figure got closer and closer, and Yi Shiwen could even hear the sonic boom behind him. "You livestock, where are you escaping to?" The North Mountain clan head's voice was already full of rage. He was dealing with a Transcendent Realm second-level brat, but he failed to catch up to him after such a long time. Although he was getting closer, it was still shameful for him. Finally, after another day of pursuit, both of them had entered the depths of the sea. Yi Shiwen didn't even know where he was now. He only knew he had to flee frantically. He had to escape the North Mountain clan chief's pursuit first. However, this North Mountain clan chief, perhaps because his son's near-death circumstances had provoked him, was going all out to kill Yi Shiwen. He would not rest until he killed Yi Shiwen. He even rushed into the deep-sea region that he would not enter otherwise. Along the way, the two of them didn't encounter any beasts in the sea. After all, there was such a terrifying person pursuing him. That menacing vibes could be felt hundreds of miles away, and any beast would not be obtuse enough to dare to rush over. No matter how Yi Shiwen moved or fled desperately, the North Mountain clan chief was still getting closer and closer behind him. The difference in strength between the two was too great. At last, Yi Shiwen could see that North Mountain clan chief with his naked eyes. He was a well-dressed middle-aged man who somewhat resembled the North Mountainling. At that moment, his face was livid, and his eyes were bursting with flames as if he wanted nothing more but to kill Yi Shiwen, who was in front of him. "You livestock, die." The North Mountain clan had attacked again. A long sword appeared in his hand. He drew a circle in the sky, and countless swords were condensed out of thin air. He sliced through the vast sky, and they fell one after another. Whiz, whiz, whiz. The sky was filled with light swords with a piercing sound, almost obscuring the whole sky, as if the entire sky had become a sea of sword clouds. Yi Shiwen kept moving, and the lightning wings kept fluttering. His figure dashed in haste, but the light swords were so dense that he couldn't hide at all. PFF. A light sword plunged directly into his body, and the terrifying sword elemental force inside it exploded. His body was blown to pieces of flesh on the spot, but this was just the beginning. After the light sword pierced Yi Shiwen, his movements slowed down. More light swords fell on the spot, like a shark smelling blood. PFF. 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 Countless swords directly pierced Yi Zaiwen's body and exploded frantically. Boom. Numerous explosive shock waves gathered into an ominous mushroom cloud, rising slowly. Yi Zaiwen's body lost its vitality and plunged into the depths of the sea. The North Mountain clan head was breathing a little quickly. For him, the consumption of the large-scale attack just now was too great, and it was impossible to use it unlimitedly. His spiritual senses scanned for Yi Zaiwen's body that fell into the sea. He discovered that there were already no signs of life, and his spirit had been minced a long time ago. He was sure that he was dead. Without any hesitation, he immediately turned around and went back. There were too many terrifying creatures in the deep sea, which were far more unimaginable than those on land. If he was not careful, even he might end up in trouble. In the deep sea, in the Tianyuan mirror, Yi Shiwen sat cross-legged on the ground. There was blood spilling from the corner of his mouth as he smiled wryly. No matter how he escaped, in the face of such an absolute difference in strength, he had no choice but to watch his star beast avatar get murdered, and even the blood slave spirit within it was instantly obliterated. This was an absolute disparity of strength. It was just like heaven and earth. He could feel the North Mountain clan head's spirit scan the star beast avatar several times as if to confirm whether he was dead. Yi Shiwen was also waiting. Presently, he could barely keep the star beast avatar from reverting to normal. After confirming again and again that the North Mountain clan head has left, Yi Shiwen let his true self out of the Tianyuan mirror and retrieved the star beast avatar into Tianyuan mirror. As soon as it entered the Tianyuan mirror, the star beast avatar reverted to the original form straight away. It was already a terrible sight to behold. There was no functional flesh on its whole body. Everything had been shattered entirely. Yi Shiwen looked around, but there was no sign of any beasts in the sea approaching. Fortunately, the terrifying aura released by the North Mountain clan chief just now prompted the nearby beasts in the sea to escape as far as possible. Although they were beasts, they were not stupid. They understood that some people were too scared to provoke. If that were not the case, the bloodshed when the star beast avatar was injured just now would have attracted countless beasts in the sea. Yi Shiwen, this star beast avatar has been destroyed. It is impossible to repair. Yi Mo's wry laughter sounded in Yi Ziwen's mind. Yi Shiwen also seemed a bit dejected. After all, the star beast avatar had helped him a lot during all those times. Without the star beast avatar, he might have died long ago. He could no longer cultivate such an avatar again. Initially, creating the star beast avatar was a remarkable opportunity. The primary factor was that the blood slave cultivated it using the spirit of the adult star beast at that time. It only succeeded because they had the same roots. But now he couldn't go there again to find an avatar like that. It was utterly impossible. For Yi Shiwen, this was a significant loss and a great injury to his spirit. Was it worth it just for a woman he only met a few times? Yi Shiwen couldn't tell. He only followed his heart, and he would never have regrets. Moreover, in his opinion, the North Mountain Ling was a scumbag who deserved to die. So let's not waste it. I have a demon skill that will allow you to swallow this star beast and merge it into your body. When the time comes, you will not only be able to directly break through to half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate, you may even inherit the star beast's bloodline and talents. Chapter 833. Half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate. Yi Mo's words startled Yi Shiwen. Is there even such a secret technique? Is there even such a secret technique? Yi Shiwen asked. Of course, but this kind of demon skill is too ruthless and unethical. Everyone in the demon domain was fighting for it. So many forces in the demon domain joined hands to destroy it many years ago. My master coincidentally obtained the secret technique from the ruins. But my master was of high level and naturally didn't care about this secret technique, so he left it be and never practiced it. Said Yi Mo. Yi Shiwen knew that the master he was talking about could only be the legendary Demon King. Only someone like the Demon King could look down upon such a powerful secret technique. However, thinking about it, he could feel that this secret technique was extraordinarily powerful just by hearing about it. Being able to absorb human flesh and blood to inherit the bloodline and talent. This secret technique could thwart all the powerful clans between the sky and the earth. Many clans had their own unique, innate magical powers and secret techniques, but the bloodline must be the medium used to pass them down. In other words, without the clan bloodline, it was impossible to learn this kind of innate magical power even if one died. They were born with it and didn't need to learn it. It was a gift from God. Like the legendary Dragon Clan, they did not require much cultivation, and could automatically reach a compelling realm. Most human clans could only struggle miserably. Even if they cultivated desperately, they were no match for the Dragon Clan. This is the difference in talent and bloodline. But the power of this secret technique was that it could rob others of their bloodline. In other words, one could awaken the other clan's innate magical power in their own body. This also meant that outsiders could learn the innate magical powers initially passed down from generation to generation, connected through the bloodline. It meant that someone was shaking the foundation of their world order. After all, the world was still under the rule of these powerful clans. On what grounds were they given the right to rule the world? They relied on their superior talent and bloodline, which ordinary clans did not possess. This kind of secret technique that could rob the world of its natural order. One could imagine how terrifying it was. This was defying God's will and changing one's destiny, contending against those naturally advantageous clans for God's will. It reminded Yi Shiwen of the tyrant body scripture. It was the same, allowing people with average acquired bodies to attain a comparable body, or even surpassing those naturally overpowered clans. This secret technique was robbing the world of its natural order and defying God's will. Although there were still various limitations after cultivation, it was undeniable that he gave those who survived at the bottom of the food chain a chance to climb up. This world was no longer unchanging. There were many more variables now. If Yi Shiwen did not have the tyrant body scripture, he might not have been able to get to where he was now. He might have just been a relatively ordinary genius at true martial school. It was hard to say whether he could have reached the level of Qi Fifan. This was like the counterattack that countless poor bastards from Yi Ziwen's previous life on Earth chanted about. Those clans and masters who had all kinds of innate bloodline talents were like the tall, rich and handsome men. Even if they didn't do anything, they could beat any poor bastard just by being born one. Whether it was the kind of demon skill Yi Mo mentioned or the tyrant body scripture, it was a martial technique that gave people a chance to close the gap between themselves and innate talent and go further. The talents of the predecessors who created this martial technique were merely unimaginable. But you didn't tell me about this before. There must be some reason. Yi Shiwen said. There must be some reason Yi Mo didn't tell him before. Otherwise, Yi Mo would have told him already. That's right. Because although this demon skill is powerful, there are many restrictions, especially for clans with various bloodline talents. Their bloodline power comes from their ancestors. The more powerful the bloodline, the more their ancestors are. If you kill him, you only kill him, but you have to face the backlash from their bloodline power if you want to plunder his bloodline. The more powerful their ancestors, the more powerful the backlash. Based on your cultivation previously, I was afraid you'll die from backlash on the spot, said Yi Mo after you took in the Star Beast as an avatar, so I never brought it up, but now that the Star Beast avatar has been completely disabled and cannot be regenerated, it is better to let you absorb it. By then, your tyrant body will be stronger, and it will be hard to meet your match even at the same level. The key is that you refine the Star Beast itself into an avatar. In other words, it is only your body, so you will not suffer the backlash of bloodline power. It means it belongs to you. Like moving it from the left hand to the right, you can avoid backlash. In that case, let's start quickly, said Yi Shiwen. He only arrived in the ancient Baron's mainland for a few short days, but it made him realize that the strength he previously took pride in was nothing at all in the ancient Baron's mainland. If he did not make fair use of the time to cultivate, he didn't know how he would die when the time came. Yi Shiwen dived straight into the bottom of the sea and found a cave at the bottom of the sea. Fortunately, the beasts nearby were already scared away just now. Now there was still residual pressure from the North Mountain clan chief here, so these beasts would not dare come back for a short while. It gave Yi Shiwen time to cultivate quietly. After finding the cave and laying down the array, Yi Shiwen drained all the seawater. Then he went directly into Tianyuan Mirror to start close cultivation. This demon skill is called Devour Demon Skills. It was created back then to alter the imbalance of bloodlines. Said Yi Mo, now I will pass Devour Demon Skills to you. After Yi Mo finished speaking, he continuously performed seals in his hands. Paragraphs of information branded into Yi Ziwen's mind, and went directly to the mysterious space in his mind. The mysterious space released a burst of colorful light. Soon after, the spirit crystals in Tianyuan Mirror began to burn in large amounts, changing into qi. which was then directly infused into the mysterious space. Yi Shiwen discovered that the mysterious space's deduction ability was becoming more powerful with every deduction. It could almost be said that it was hundreds of times more potent than when Yi Shiwen first obtained it. If this were the past, it would be impossible to deduce devour demon skills, even if he could obtain it. Of course, insufficient spiritual energy was also one of the critical factors. 3 days passed quickly. Yi Shiwen consumed tens of millions of spirit crystals, and finally completed the devour demon skills deduction. After deducing the essence, he was able to start cultivating. Yi Shiwen sat cross-legged inside the Tianyuan mirror. A burst of demon aura rose from his body. Yi Shiwen was no longer unfamiliar with demon aura. It could even be said he was now very familiar with it. In fact, isn't demon wings the ultimate demon skill? Suddenly, a vast demon claw stretched out inside his body and grabbed the body of the star beast that was lying supine. The claw grabbed the star beast into its body in one go. The blood essence and energy in the star beast's body were transmitted from the magic claws into Yi Ziwen's body. Yi Shiwen suddenly felt a majestic and terrifying force burst into his body. The star beast avatar's body was 100 times the size of his true self, so the energy contained in his body was far above Yi Ziwen's. For his true self, this force was tremendously terrifying. Fortunately, the star beast was also his avatar. This blood essence and energy were also in his control, so he didn't explode and die on the spot. Even so, his body gained more energy. His body was red all over. If he was not careful, he could explode and die on the spot. Now he finally understood why Yi Mo didn't tell him about this secret technique previously. Because even if he tried it before, he would end up dead without a doubt. Ugh! Yi Shiwen yelled lowly. Tyrant body scripture and observing person scripture began to run at full capacity, absorbing this tremendous energy. It was not only the energy of the blood essence, but also the extremely mysterious power that was trying to merge into the depths of Yi Ziwen's spirit under the pull of devour demon skills. Yi Shiwen immediately realized that this was the bloodline power of the star beast. Suddenly, he was dripping with cold sweat all over and in pain. This heart-piercing pain came from the depths of the spirit, as if his spirit was being torn apart and then stuffed with something. Just this pain alone could eliminate 9 out of 10 people from succeeding. Yi Shiwen was in so much pain his muscles trembled. He almost lost control of the star beast's blood essence and energy, nearly exploded and died on the spot. He could only summon the Mingxin ancient tree to anchor himself. Sure enough, after the colorful light of the Mingxin ancient tree enveloped him, despite the unbearable pain, it could no longer affect his consciousness. He was continuously absorbing the bloodline power and blood essence of the star beast. Yi Shiwen didn't know how much time had passed. He could no longer perceive time while in endless pain, and he didn't know how long it had been. He could only feel scales begin to appear faintly on his body. The silver scales made him seem like he was starting to transform into a humanoid star beast. But immediately, Yi Ziwen's body gave off a kind of bronze light. It was the tyrant body scripture, instantly suppressing this abnormal change. It was the tyrant body scripture rejecting the star beast's change. This was the most overbearing aspect of the tyrant body scripture. It used all the energy that came, but it did not allow the guest to become a host. His body became modified little by little. This star beast's power unexpectedly integrated completely with his tyrant body scripture. The star beast's body itself was overwhelming. What more with the tyrant body? Merging these two physiques, it was hard to imagine what level this physical body would reach. Boom! Yi Shiwen was finally unable to control the momentum inside his body. Under the countless impacts from the star beast's blood essence, the half-step transcendent realm intermediate barrier became overwhelmed on the spot. He finally entered half-step transcendent realm intermediate. 1. The translator disagrees with author's twisted belief. Chapter 834. Awaken magical power. Yi Shiwen had remained in half-step transcendent realm initial for too long. The reason why he had chosen not to break through was to lay a solid foundation. When the actual breakthrough took place, he could truly step into transcendent realm level combat power. Now he finally ascended to the half-step transcendent realm intermediate, just as he expected. After stepping into the half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate, his combat power rose by several levels, in which he could contend with Transcendent Realm first-level masters. His Star Beast avatar could not do so back then, but his main body could achieve this feat now. But he still hadn't stopped because only a part of the Star Beast's blood essence energy was absorbed. Initially, the Star Beast's power realm was much stronger than his main body, not to mention that the Star Beast's body was also hundreds and thousands of times stronger. It would be so easy for Yi Zaiwen's true self to absorb it all. After another day passed, Yi Shiwen finally reached half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate peak. He could step into half-step Transcendent Realm late at any time, but he suppressed this breakthrough. He just had a breakthrough, so he was not fit for another breakthrough. The remaining blood essence energy could not be digested, and could only remain in his body for now. This energy might be able to support him through entering Transcendent Realm 2nd level, 3rd level, or even higher. On the other side, the bloodline power that belonged to the Star Beast was also integrated into his spirit, but it was only forced inside tentatively. He did not know how long it would take for it to integrate fully. So he did not learn any of those secret techniques and magical powers. He only learned a more popular innate magical power, which was the Demon Chi Bomb. Those beasts could spit out this Demon Chi Bomb when they opened their mouths, hence making it popular. Even the Star Swallow that the original Star Beast avatar learned was not retained. However, although it was a popular innate magical power, Demon Chi Bombs from different clans were naturally very different. They looked similar, but they were not the same. The Demon Chi Bomb cultivation method passed through the Star Beast clan was the best of the best. To put the Demon Chi Bomb bluntly, there was no complicated principle behind it. It involved compressing the Bodhis Chi or Demon Chi and spitting it out. It was an innate magical power because it relied on the Bodhis' unique structures that outsiders couldn't duplicate. Yi Shiwen could only learn it after integrating the Star Beast's blood essence bloodline, and his body became able to mimic the internal structures of a Star Beast in a short period. Although the principle was not complicated, it did not mean that it was weak. It also had mighty output, utilizing absolute strength to oppress all opponents. A Demon Chi Bomb was more powerful than Yi Zaiwen's full power. If an unguarded Transcendent Realm 2nd level master got hit by a Demon Chi Bomb, he would also get severely injured on the spot. This power had become Yi Zaiwen's trump card. After Yi Shiwen swallowed the Star Beast's blood essence and bloodline, he gradually began to present some Star Beast characteristics. For example, the chi in his body was 10 times more than the initial amount, though it was still not comparable to the scale of when he had the Star Beast avatar, which was 100 times greater. However, with continuous integration, there was still room for gradual improvement. Even so, he was now like a beast in human form, with a physical body and chi level far beyond an ordinary person's. Even so, at the peak state, he could only fire 10 Demon Chi Bombs consecutively. If it were an ordinary person, their chi would become depleted after firing one, and he would be vulnerable. Therefore, this Demon Chi Bomb could only be used as a trump card. When used during critical moments, it could even severely injure a Transcendent Realm 2nd level master. In the future, as Yi Shiwen integrated more of the Star Beast's blood essence and bloodline, its power would gradually increase, at which point it would become even stronger. Now that he had finished his cultivation, Yi Shiwen wouldn't stay in Tianyuan Mirror anymore. He exited Tianyuan Mirror straight away. He was still only half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate, but in terms of combat power, he was confident he was just as strong as the Star Beast avatar when he just arrived at the ancient Baron's mainland, or even stronger. He could even contend with Transcendent Realm 2nd level masters. If he could severely injure a Transcendent Realm 2nd level master with a Demon Chi Bomb, then killing one was not entirely impossible. These were all things that couldn't be done when he had the Star Beast avatar. Above the boundless sea, a huge fleet of ships sailed through the waves as it navigated over. Above the ship's bow, a woman in her 20s stood on the bow, her slender figure perfectly straight. She was wearing a long blue dress that complemented the entire ocean. Her shoulder-length hair fluttered in the wind. The bare-faced lattice face was indifferent. No one knew what she was thinking. "Miss, I have already investigated it." A middle-aged man's voice came from behind the woman. A resolute man with thick eyebrows and big eyes strode over. A powerful master must have battled here, so all the beasts in this area were scared away. It ended up saving us a lot of trouble. That would be the best. I was afraid that someone might ambush us in this area. That would be terrible. The woman said mildly, looking at the sea with slight concern. It shouldn't come to that. Such a powerful person must have long surpassed transcendent realm. Neither the Wu family, nor the Yuan family can employ such a master. Even if they knew such a person, the price of employing such a powerful master to battle would bankrupt them, said the middle-aged man. So, I don't think it was someone they employed to ambush us. That's true. The woman nodded. Suddenly, there was a loud splash, and a figure jumped out of the water directly. Ha ha ha, I'm finally out. Yi Shiwen laughed loudly. He had felt very disgruntled in the period he spent in the sea. Who is it? Seeing Yi Shiwen emerge from the bottom of the sea, the already very nervous Armada suddenly became even more nervous. Yi Shiwen just realized that there happened to be a fleet of ships passing by. In the vast sea, he didn't even know where he was anymore. He fled in a panic when he was being hunted down before, basically not in any specific direction. Hence, he didn't even know where he had flown to now. At that moment, Yi Shiwen only felt dozens of overwhelming forces targeted at him. If he made one small mistake, it would immediately bring about an attack from the ships. Among them, there were even Transcendent Realm 3rd level and 4th level masters. Yi Ziwen's spiritual senses were keen enough to tell at one glance. Yi Shiwen stepped forward and said, I am Yi Shiwen. I accidentally entered this sea region and got lost. I don't know what sea region this is, nor do I know which direction the Ancient Baron's mainland is. If you do know, please show me the way. Ancient Baron's mainland? That is already 50 million kilometers away from here, said the woman standing at the bow. This is the Flourish Cloud Sea region. We are the Armada of the Wang family of South Initiate Island. I am the youngest daughter, Wang Mingyu. So you are Lady Wang, Yi Shiwen said with his hands cupped over his chest. I don't have any bad intentions, I just got lost. If that's the case, then I will take my leave. Yi Shiwen could feel the hostility from the many masters on the ship. Although he was confident that the other party could not eliminate him, he did not want to create conflict with others hastily. It was just that he didn't expect that he and the North Mountain clan chief went so deep into the sea region in one go. In the beginning, he was only occupied with fleeing and hadn't noticed anything. It was more than 50 million kilometers. Going back would be extremely difficult. Although it was effortless for him to get here, it was because of the North Mountain clan chief's pressure, so no beast dared to approach him, whether big or small. However, if he were alone, then he would inevitably have to fight. It would not be as easy to go back. As a Transcendent Realm 1st level warrior, it would be dangerous for him to walk in the place where many beasts roamed. When he just stepped into Truth Realm and headed toward the East Sea, the situation was not as dangerous as now. After all, he only trained at the outskirts of the East Sea and did not dare enter. Brother Yi, it will take tens of millions of miles to get to the Ancient Baron's mainland. There will be countless beasts on the way. If you don't mind, you can ride on our boat for now. Our South Initiate Island is also in the direction of the Ancient Barons. We can send you on your way, said Wang Mingyu. Behind her, the facial expressions of the middle-aged man and the others changed slightly. At that moment, it was not a good idea to take the person in front of them on board without knowing whether he was an enemy or a friend. Miss, I'm afraid this would be inappropriate. If he is someone else's spy, then it would be bad for us. The middle-aged man advised her through voice transmission. Uncle Le, I naturally have a reason for doing this. He is just a half-step Transcendent Realm intermediate. He can't stir up much trouble on our ship. Moreover, I can tell he has an outstanding temperament. He is no small fry. A person like that will be an outstanding person rising above the rest in any family, so how can he be a spy? Whether it is the Wu family or the Yuan family, there are no other outstanding figures besides those two, so I don't think it is likely that he is the spy, said Wang Mingyu mildly. Even so, even if the risk is that low, we can't take any risks, the middle-aged man, Wang Lu, said stubbornly. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that the spiritual volcano is about to open. I received news that the Wu family and the Yuan family may join hands against our Wang family at this time. For the ranked competition, they may employ outsiders and join hands to edge out our Wang family's share. At that point, things will be terrible. I can't hold the scene alone, replied Wang Mingyu. This person came from the ancient baron's mainland, and he is not any young master we know. If we can employ him to battle, at least our Wang family will be able to keep our current share. Only then did Wang Le know that Wang Mingyu had such plans. Chapter 835. Arriving at South Initiate Island on the other side, Yi Shiwen and Yi Mo began a discussion in his consciousness. Yi Shiwen, you are too far away from the mainland now. It's unrealistic to traverse tens of millions of miles of sea region by just relying on your cultivation. It's better to follow this armada to South Initiate Island first, said Yi Mo. Besides, even if you go back now, you will not be able to handle that old scumbag. You wouldn't even be able to take care of that North Mountainling scumbag. Right now, you can't afford getting hunted again. This time, there is no Star Beast avatar to take the blow for you. Yi Shiwen was silent for a while. Indeed, with his current strength, traversing these tens of millions of miles was a problem, let alone going back to create trouble with the old scumbag. He did not have the old scumbag's strength, which could scare off all the beasts in one go. Similarly, he could only put aside finding his birth father for now. Besides, so many years had passed, so what if another few years passed? Although this sea region is nothing like the central mainland, there are many young masters here. There are even giant monsters in the depths of the ocean that even that old North Mountain scumbag wouldn't dare enter. It is a good chance to tamper yourself, said Yi Mo. Yi Zaiwen's original plan was to figure out his origins first. After thoroughly understanding his past self's predecessor, he would travel to the mainland. At that point, he should already be on his own and aim to achieve the martial arts peak. Once he had enough strength, he would go to ancient Phoenix domain and bring Hua Menghan back. Presently, he was still too weak. In the ancient baron's mainland, someone like him was simply a dime a dozen. His death would not cause a ripple. In that case, I shall heed your advice. Yi Shiwen nodded. In this sea region where the surroundings looked the same, there weren't any directions. As soon as Yi Shiwen boarded the ship, he could feel that no one in the armada was friendly to him. They were indistinctly wary and hostile, but Yi Shiwen didn't take it to heart either. He wasn't planning to associate himself with them too deeply anyway. As soon as he arrived at South Initiate Island, he would find a chance to leave. 3 days later, the armada had already crossed the vast sea and headed in a specific direction. Who is Brother Yes Mentor? Wang Mingyu asked softly from the deck. Even amidst the strong winds and waves, her voice sounded abnormally clear in Yi Zaiwen's ears. She couldn't tell Yi Zaiwen's cultivation level. On the surface, Yi Shiwen was just a half-step transcendent realm intermediate warrior, but he gave her a dangerous feeling, which was absurd. She had already entered Transcendent Realm First Level, and she was above average, a well-known genius in South Initiate Island. There was no way she was afraid of a half-step Transcendent Realm warrior. She just had a feeling. However, this feeling gradually faded. Now she couldn't even feel it anymore. At a certain point, she even wondered if she sensed wrong. No, she trusted her senses. That kind of danger was like a ferocious beast in the sea that could pounce on her and tear her apart at any time. It was precisely because she believed in her senses that she invited Yi Shiwen on board. If Yi Shiwen knew Wang Menjia's thoughts at this time, he would be surprised by her senses because her senses were not wrong. Yi Shiwen just ascended into the half-step Transcendent Realm Intermediate a few days ago, so he still couldn't control the aura emanating from his body. Although he tried his best to suppress his aura, a sliver of it still leaked out. Just like unsheathing a sword. Even unsheathing a little bit was enough to let people see the sword's sharpness. Now, as the realm gradually consolidated, he was able to completely hold back the aura leaking from his body, which was like returning the sword to its sheath. In appearance, he looked like an ordinary half-step transcendent realm. Many people had underestimated Yi Shiwen this way, and lost badly to him. Now Yi Shiwen had already passed the stage where he needed to act dumb to take advantage of others. but he still didn't want to be brash. It's just a minor lineage. I'm afraid no one will know it if I say it out loud. Yi Shiwen smiled faintly. Behind the two of them, Wang Le followed almost every step of the way, as if he was afraid that Yi Shiwen would harm Wang Mingyu. He didn't know why he thought so, but he vaguely felt that Yi Shiwen was a great threat. Only after a few days of seeing that Yi Shiwen didn't behave out of the ordinary, he could relax slightly. When Wang Mingyu saw that Yi Shiwen wouldn't say, she didn't continue to ask, but she didn't believe Yi Ziwen's statement. How could an ordinary sect foster such an extraordinary person like Yi Shiwen? She didn't believe it. She just took it as Yi Shiwen not wanting to say it. By the way, Lady Wang, why haven't I seen any sea beasts in all this time? Is there a trick to this? Yi Shiwen asked. In 3 days, the armada had already sailed out of the place where Yi Shiwen and the North Mountain clan chief had a battle, but he still hadn't seen any sea beasts cause trouble. In fact, each sea beast was more brutal than the next, and they feared nothing. How would it be possible that not a single one showed up? It's not a secret. Most sea region natives know this. We sprinkled a type of spice around the ship, which is the spice that sea beasts hate the most so that they won't approach us, said Wang Mingyu. Yi Shiwen suddenly realized and nodded. Sure enough, if that weren't the case, an armada would not be able to travel the ocean. In fact, the density of beasts in the sea was far higher than on land. At least on land, most beasts were found in mountainous areas, but they were everywhere in the sea, and the number might be dozens of times higher than on land. When Yi Shiwen asked that, Wang Mingyu became even more certain that Yi Shiwen came from the ancient baron's mainland. How many masters born and raised in the sea region didn't know this? The armada then traveled for another full day. Finally, a large island appeared in front of everyone. The islands seemed like infinite stars in the endless sea, except most of them were uninhabited islands. The proportion of inhabited islands was not great, but the number was still staggering. In the past few days, Yi Shiwen has heard Wang Mingyu's explanation. The South Initiate Island was huge, but there was only one city, South Initiate City. The vast majority of the island's population lived in South Initiate City. Although it was only an island, it had a population of over 20 million. The most powerful families besides the Wang family were the Wu family and the Yuan family. However, they never opposed the Wang family much. Yi Shiwen couldn't help but sigh. The ancient barrens was a prime cultivation location. Still, he thought about how several billion people in the entire South region only gave birth to such few transcendent realm masters. At the same time, South Initiate Island only had a population of over 20 million. Still, the number of transcendent realm masters born here was comparable to the entire true martial school, which was impressive. More than that, the ancient barrens mainland was the center of the world. The armada soon arrived at the South Initiate Island pier. Although it was only a pier, it was unusually lively as a small town, and ships were regularly docking at the pier. Hundreds of ships were waiting to dock, but the Wang family's armada did not follow the queue. They came to a row of free docks on the other side, which belonged to the Wang family. Naturally, they did not have to line up with others to wait to dock. After the ship was docked securely, Wang Mingyu, Wang Lu, and other senior officers of the armada disembarked one after another. As for the cargo, naturally, someone else was in charge of unloading. Yi Shiwen only then saw the masters hidden in the other cabins. There were 10 Transcendent Realm Level 3 masters. Wang Lu was most probably a Transcendent Realm 4th level master, and was more overwhelming than those at Xian City. Yi Shiwen didn't hesitate, and got off the boat straight away. Wang Mingyu slowed down and waited for Yi Shiwen to walk abreast with her. Then she said, "Brother Yi, if you haven't decided where you want to go, why don't you visit our Wang family first?" Before Yi Shiwen answered, a slightly surprised voice came from in front of him. "Mingyu, you are back. I was worried to death, but fortunately you are fine." Yi Shiwen looked up to see a young man in his 20s dressed in a Chinese robe, who ran to Wang Mingyu's side eagerly. Wang Mingyu frowned and said, "Wu Chunhai, address me by my full name. I don't know you that well." Wu Chunhai? An impression suddenly appeared in Yi Ziwen's mind. Wang Mingyu once told him that on this South Initiate Island, there were 3 major forces, which were the Wang family, Wu family, and the Yuan family. Each family had an outstanding young master. Wang Mingyu naturally headed the Wang family, and the young master of the Wu family was none other than Wu Chunhai. He. The youth in the Chinese robe, Wu Chunhai, smiled brilliantly. Then he saw Yi Shiwen next to Wang Mingyu, and his face immediately became gloomy. He said, "Who is this?" Yi Shiwen could feel the intense hostility from him. "What does it have to do with you? You're too nosy," said Wang Mingyu coldly. Wu Chenhai's facial expression became even uglier. The way he looked at Yi Shiwen was like a ferocious beast choosing someone to eat. Yi Ziwen's eyes flashed with understanding. It couldn't be clearer that this Wu Chenhai was Wang Mingjia's suitor, and had considered him a rival. This Wang Mingjia's reaction also surprised him. This kind of thing could be clearly explained in one sentence, but she did not do so and instead chose a more extreme method. However, Yi Shiwen was just a little surprised. He didn't take it to heart. Even if he offended someone, even if he couldn't beat those Transcendent Realm Level 4 or Level 5 Masters, he was not worried about escaping for self-preservation. Chapter 836. A fraud? Or does he have what it takes? I'm too nosy. Wu Chunhai sneered, but his icy gaze was directed at Yi Shiwen. His gaze was full of resentment. Boy, you better not have any relationship with her. Yi Shiwen felt like he was caught in the line of fire. However, this Wu Chenhai's attitude disgusted him, so he just coldly said, "Busybody." Yi Ziwen's words made Wu Chenhai's expression fall entirely. A violent aura emanated from his body, which instantly enveloped Yi Ziwen's body. "Wu Chenhai, what are you doing? Brother Yi is my friend. Are you going to cause a scene here?" Wang Mingyu shouted, standing in front of Yi Shiwen. "Okay, I will show Mingyu some respect today, but this kid won't always be this lucky." Said Wu Chunhai coldly in a threatening tone. After he finished speaking with a gloomy face, he turned and left. "If you have what it takes, go take part in the spiritual volcano slot competition in 10 days. I will kill you directly then." Behind him, an old servant followed him like a ghost. The two of them walked further and further away, and were almost outside of the dock when then the old servant said, "Master, won't the Wang family catch on?" "So what if they catch on? Ever since my eldest brother joined the Sea Dragon Mansion, the power of our Wu family has been increasing day by day. The Wang family also wants Wang Mingyu to join the Sea Dragon Mansion to reverse this situation, which is all the more reason we can't let them succeed. Otherwise, we may lose our advantageous prospect." Wu Chunhai said coldly, "For the spiritual volcano's share this time, we must try to edge out the Wang family's slot completely. This way, it won't take a few times for the Wang family to decline. As for the Yuan family, they have backers. We have to accept them for a while and join forces with them to get rid of the Wang family first." "What about Lady Wang?" the old servant asked. "She's just a woman. Do they think I will get distracted by a woman? As for that bitch Wang Mingyu, I want her to surrender at my feet sooner or later," said Wu Chunhai coldly. Wang Mingyu disrespected him repeatedly, causing a ball of rage to grow in his heart. On the other side, Wang Mingyu said to Yi Shiwen apologetically, "I'm sorry for dragging you into that. That Wu Chunhai is already accustomed to behaving overbearingly on South Initiate Island by relying on Wu family's power." "It's okay," said Yi Shiwen. "But what is the spiritual volcano slot competition?" "It's like this. There is an intersection between a spiritual vein and a volcano in the ocean's depths, not far from South Initiate Island. Every 50 years, this volcano will erupt once. The volcano will spew out a large volume of spirit plasma. The spirit plasma is extremely high in temperature, but it also contains a huge amount of fire-type spiritual energy. If one can bathe in it, they will have a great breakthrough in their cultivation. A half-step Transcendent Realm Warrior can even ascend into Transcendent Realm, and a Transcendent Realm Master can go one step further," said Wang Mingyu, looking at Yi Shiwen. "However, although this spiritual volcano has many benefits, it is also perilous. If one is not careful, even a Transcendent Realm Master will be annihilated inside it." After countless years of exploration, the three major families finally discovered 10 safe locations. Among these 10 positions, the highest-ranked disciple among the 3 major families will get 4 locations. The 2 other families will get 2 each, while the remaining 2 are reserved for other individual cultivators on the island. Yi Shiwen pondered for a moment, then suddenly said, "Do you want me to help you fight?" Yi Shiwen finally understood. Seeing Yi Ziwen's realization, Wang Menjia's face reddened. Now that her intentions were exposed, she suddenly felt a little embarrassed. "Yes, I heard that the 2 of them plan to join forces to edge out the Wang family. According to our intel, the Wu family also employed foreign masters. Still, when we got the news, it was already too late for us to employ powerful masters," said Wang Mingyu, her facial expression instantly returning to normal. She looked at Yi Shiwen a little expectantly. Yi Shiwen didn't think it was anything. He groaned and said, "If I help you win the competition, I want a slot." What he valued was the spiritual volcano slot. If he could get doused by this spiritual volcano, his cultivation should go further. With the mini-star beast blood essence and bloodline sealed in his body, going further was not a problem, and he needn't worry about any after-effects. As for Wang Menjia's little idea, he didn't take it to heart. "Yi Shiwen, this is a great opportunity. You already have the foundation of the Star Beast Avatar's breakthrough, so your breakthrough in a short span of time will not have any problems at all. I'm only worried that the foundation is not stable, but if you can bathe in the spiritual volcano, your foundation will be solid enough. You won't need to worry at all," supported Yemo. "That is not a problem. As long as Brother Yi can help us out, 1 slot is totally fine," said Wang said happily. What delighted her, even more, was that her judgment was right. This Yi Shiwen was different. She could hear strong confidence in his voice. If he were just a regular half-step transcendent realm, at this time, he would be afraid that he might not be able to survive. Yet he thought about being given a slot if they win. It showed that he was confident. If they didn't have Yi Ziwen's help this time, they would most likely suffer heavy losses. At best, they could obtain 2 slots by relying on the Wang family's reputation. On the contrary, if Yi Shiwen could help them win, even if they have to give Yi Shiwen a slot, they would still have 3. It was more worth it than the initial plan. "But I am not from the Wang family, is that okay?" Yi Shiwen asked. "It's not a problem. Although you are not from the Wang family, you can still represent our Wang family in the competition," said Wang Mingyu. If Wang Mingyu was delighted, then Wang Li was utterly shocked. Could he have misjudged? Was Yi Shiwen a hidden master like the lady said? The Wang family entourage soon returned to the Wang family's ancestral home in the city's east. Although it was said to be the ancestral home, it was practically a small town. Almost 10,000 people of the Wang family gathered here. It was like a small kingdom. Yi Shiwen was guided to a small courtyard, the wing room the Wang family used to entertain guests. After helping Yi Shiwen settle in, Wang Mingyu went directly to see her father, Wang Yanghua, the Wang family master. In Wang Yanghua's study, the patriarch, Wang Yanghua sat in the Lord's seat. He had a profound aura, and was also an unfathomable master. He naturally would not be an ordinary master if he could lead the Wang family. "Sister Yu, I heard that you brought back a half-step transcendent realm boy today, right?" Next to Wang Mingyu, a young man dressed in Chinese garments in his 20s, said with slight displeasure on his face. "Mingyu? What is going on?" Wang Yanghua glanced at Wang Mingyu and asked. "Well, I intend to let him temporarily join our Wang family to represent the Wang family in the next spiritual volcano slot competition," replied Wang Mingyu faintly. "Ah, that's funny. A half-step transcendent realm boy?" The young man said with a cold smile as if he just heard some big joke. "Sending a half-step transcendent realm warrior is completely useless. Mingyu, don't you know this?" Wang Yanghua said, only looking at Wang Mingyu and ignoring the young man's cynicism. "I can feel that he is powerful," said Wang Mingyu. "So I think if we invite him to take part, our chances of winning will increase a lot." "If you feel? A half-step transcendent realm warrior can't contend with the transcendent realm no matter what. Even if he just stepped into the transcendent realm, he would be eliminated," the young man said with a sneer. "Also, Sister Yu, when you put it that way, it seems that you don't trust the strength of our Wang family's masters, and would rather trust a half-step transcendent realm outsider." If this were the past, it would be fine. This time the Wu family has also invited 2 masters, both of whom are Transcendent Realm first level peak. They are solid. Not to mention, they may be joining forces with the Yuan family. At this point, there is nothing we can do just by ourselves, and it is too late to get help from outside, said Wang Mingyu. Even if we can't get help from outside, we can't just find a random one. He's still half-step Transcendent Realm. This boy will take up one of our precious slots. Is the spiritual volcano slot something we can give out? The young man said, still adamant. If we fail, then there will only be 2 slots. If we win, even if we give him one, don't we still have 3 left? Wang Mingyu sneered as if she was looking at someone who didn't understand simple arithmetic. If we win by ourselves, do we also have to give him the slot? The young man said with a sneer. Wang Feiyun. Wang Mingyu was a little angry. Do you think I lack basic judgment? We can't win by ourselves. Okay, stop fighting. Wang Yanghua finally spoke up. He glanced at the 2 of them, stern but not angry. Although it was you, Mingyu, who brought him back, you only have a gut feeling. After all, you didn't personally watch him battle, right? The spiritual volcano seat this time is vital to our Wang family. We can't let go of a single one. This relates to whether you can join the Sea Dragon Mansion, and whether the Wang family can contend with the Yuan family and the Wu family in the future. What Uncle is saying is, why don't I go test him? If he has what it takes, then sure. If he doesn't, he will be killed directly for daring to con our Wang family, said the young man Wang Feiyun. I shall take my leave first. It's settled then, said Wang Yanghua. At this time, this was undoubtedly the safest approach. Seeing that Wang Feiyun had left, Wang Yanghua glanced at Wang Mingyu. He sighed and said, why can't you 2 get along? Chapter 837. Who else is not convinced? Why can't you 2 get along? Looking at the 2 going head-to-head with each other, Wang Yanghua had quite a headache. Wang Feiyun could be considered an outstanding warrior in the clan. At a young age, he had already entered the Transcendent Realm. There weren't many people who could compare to him on South Initiate Island. In the clan, he was second only to Wang Yanghua's daughter, Wang Mingyu. In the past, Wang Yanghua wanted to encourage the marriage between these 2. Although Wang Feiyun called him uncle, they were not related. They had no other connection except for the Wang surname. The Wang family was extensive, and Wang Feiyun was a warrior from the side branch. The Wang family did not discriminate between the main branch and the side branch. In this world where the strong took advantage of the weak, these rules were necessary, but the family would decline if one blindly adhered to them. There was no point in discriminating between the side and main branches. In the face of absolute strength, the family would have to make way. There was no deeper meaning. The family's prosperity was above all else. But Wang Mingyu never caught feelings for Wang Feiyun since she was a child. While Wang Feiyun liked Wang Mingyu initially, the feelings gradually began to change as he became aware of Wang Mingyu's attitude. It wasn't known when they started going head-to-head with each other like this. It would be fine if they just couldn't be coupled together, but if the 2 people Wang Yanghua regarded to be the 2 pillars of the Wang family's future keep going head-to-head like this, even he couldn't help but have a headache. It's not that I want to go head-to-head with him, but he is constantly picking on me, said Wang Mingyu, dissatisfied. What he said is not wrong. A half-step Transcendent Realm being equally matched with an average Transcendent Realm first level is already unbelievable, let alone Wu Chunhai or Yuan Xuehai of the Yuan family. They are both the best of the best among Transcendent Realm first-level masters. If they get to bathe in the spiritual mountain this time, they will undoubtedly be able to enter Transcendent Realm second level. At that point, maybe even they will have the opportunity to join the Sea Dragon Mansion. And that is the real trouble, said Wang Yanghua. It wouldn't hurt to let him try out. Don't go anywhere for the next few days. Stay at home with a peace of mind and prepare for the battle, said Wang Yanghua. Yes, replied Wang Mingyu. Yi Shiwen was in the house. He had just calmed down and was planning to cultivate when there was a loud noise outside the courtyard. Where is that half-step Transcendent Realm boy? Where is he? He seems to be in this yard. How dare he come to our Wang family to deceive us? Is he looking for death? That's right. He's just a half-step transcendent realm. Yi Shiwen quirked the corner of his mouth and sneered. He immediately figured out why. Yi Shiwen sprinted out of the house directly, but saw that a group of dozen young people had swarmed into the yard. The leader was Wang Feiyun, the person who wanted to test Yi Shiwen. "Are you Yi Shiwen?" said Wang Feiyun as he squinted his eyes and looked at Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen didn't speak, and just looked at Wang Feiyun mildly. "How arrogant. Didn't you hear Brother Yin talking to you?" Wang Feiyun hadn't spoken yet, but a young man who couldn't stand it rushed up and shouted, "I already know your intentions for coming here. Whoever is unconvinced, just come here." Yi Shiwen said casually as if he did not consider these people worthy. Yi Shiwen clearly understood these people's intentions for coming. It was nothing more than assuming that he was just a half-step transcendent realm, and not qualified to represent the Wang family. Isn't that Wang Feiyun? Why did he come here? Wang Feiyun and his people's actions quickly attracted a lot of attention. Isn't that the person, the young lady, brought back who says that he will compete on behalf of our Wang family? This Wang Yunfei is quite displeased. Even if it were me, I wouldn't allow it. On what grounds can a half-step transcendent realm compete on our Wang family's behalf? If other people find out, they will think that our Wang family has no one worthy, so we even sent a half-step transcendent realm. No. Now, typically only transcendent realm masters dare to compete. If it is not restricted and only the younger generation gets to compete, I am afraid that the level is even higher. But since it was the young lady who brought him back, it means that he must have what it takes. The young lady is not a rash person. Everyone was discussing it. You are just a half-step transcendent realm intermediate warrior. What are you so arrogant for? A young warrior in his 20s stood up and looked at Yi Shiwen viciously. A violent aura emanated from him. It turned out that he was already a half-step transcendent realm late master. No wonder he dared to face Yi Shiwen. The warrior felt that Yi Shiwen was disregarding them, which was the biggest insult to them. Suddenly, a palm shot out like lightning, directly penetrating the void and appearing in front of Yi Shiwen's face. He transformed his palm into claws, and a swift eagle claw technique reached out directly. Only at this moment did Yi Shiwen finally move. He only made a move after the opponent. In an instant, a pale palm reached out and slapped the swift eagle claw technique. Boom! There was a loud sound of impact, accompanied by the sound of bones breaking. The young warrior just screamed. His entire arm was broken on the spot by the shockwaves of the enormous force. You wretch! Wang Feiyun's face suddenly fell. His eyes were uncertain, and his expression was a little pinched. He did not expect that his subordinate would be so powerless in Yi Shiwen's hands. Unexpectedly, you do have some strength, but it can only end here. Wang Feiyun roared. An extremely pure and powerful qi instantly overflowed, faintly enveloping Yi Shiwen. As the Wang family genius, second only to Wang Mingyu, Wang Feiyun was not without justification. His strength was quite overwhelming. He had entered Transcendent Realm first-level peak. Even if he was not as good as Wang Mingyu, he was undoubtedly a second-tier top master right below Wang Mingyu and others. Arg! Wang Feiyun shot out his hand directly. Return to the cloud hand. His anger came from his heart. With this attack, he did not hold back at all. His figure leapt out directly with his big hands spread out. There was a faint cloud aura lingering above his palms, revealing how strange and mysterious it was. This was the Wang family's lost technique. Learning this return to the cloud hand was a privilege that only belonged to a handful of people in the Wang family. Wang Feiyun's palm was wrapped in a layer of cloud aura. It was a little strange and erratic, as if the entire sky was the return to the cloud hand, yet it also didn't seem to exist. There was no way for people to tell whether the return to the cloud hand was real or not. A weak-willed warrior would have passed out straight away. Wang Feiyun's shot was swift, but Yi Shiwen's speed was even faster than his. Yi Shiwen also attacked at the very same moment. Boom! Another staggering impact sound echoed the battlefield. Yi Shiwen's fist hit Wang Feiyun's palm directly. Wang Feiyun was surprised to find that his erratic palm momentum was instantly seen through by Yi Shiwen. In fact, the primary feature of the Wang family's return to the cloud hand was that the erratic palm momentum was tough to see through at once. It was impossible to decipher its path. Once one saw it, Wang Feiyun would have already hit you. But this Yi Shiwen could see through it with one glance as if he didn't have to think. What shocked him even more was that Yi Shiwen obliterated the cloud aura covering his palm completely, leaving only dust behind. However, Yi Shiwen did not wait for Wang Feiyun's shock to wear off. With his other hand, he pierced through the void at lightning speed and performed a hand chop on Wang Feiyun's chest like lightning. Boom! Another muffled sound could be heard. Wang Feiyun was seen flying out on the spot. He spurted a mouthful of fresh blood in midair, showering the sky. What? How is this possible? Everyone was utterly shocked when they saw this scene. They almost thought they saw it wrongly. Wang Feiyun was not only the top genius of the Wang family in addition to Wang Mingyu. His cultivation had already entered Transcendent Realm first level peak, and could enter the second level at any time. If the Wang family only received 2 slots to bathe in the spiritual volcano, it would be Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun. They were also the pillars of the Wang family's future, and may even take over as the Wang family master in the future. But now Wang Feiyun couldn't even handle one of Yi Ziwen's moves. Yi Shiwen didn't even use any remarkable martial arts, but just one ordinary attack completely defeated Wang Feiyun. If such a scene should happen, it should be Wang Feiyun defeating him in one move. And most importantly, Wang Feiyun was already Transcendent Realm first level peak, and Yi Shiwen was just half-step Transcendent Realm intermediate, not even half-step Transcendent Realm peak. How could this not be shocking? If Yi Shiwen defeating a half-step Transcendent Realm late in one move could be considered a genius fighting someone above their levels, defeating Wang Feiyun, who was above him in level, was no longer something within their understanding. Between half-step Transcendent Realm intermediate and Transcendent Realm first level peak, there was a massive gap between the two power realm. How can this Yi Shiwen be so scary? I have never seen such a terrifying half-step Transcendent Realm. It's no wonder that the young lady said that he was going to represent our Wang family in the battle. He is mighty. Indeed, this person is so powerful. Our Wang family has hopes of winning this time. Over the years, the Wu family and Yuan family joined forces to suppress our Wang family. While they took turns to win the championship and trained a large number of masters, they are shameless. Yes, this year we have a chance to keep our chins up. With the young lady, plus this Yi Shiwen, there is hope for winning the championship. It's hard to say. Didn't the Wu family and Yuan family also employ masters this time? They also came prepared. Who else is not convinced? Yi Shiwen asked coldly, glancing at the crowd. Chapter 838. The arena begins. For a moment, everyone was silent. This Yi Shiwen was too strong. It was simply outrageous. They never thought that a half-step Transcendent Realm Master could defeat a Transcendent Realm Master in such an overwhelming manner. It was beyond their imagination. At that moment, the moods of everyone in the Wang family was too complicated. It was because Yi Shiwen defeated Wang Feiyun, the Wang family's pride. They should hate him, but after 10 days, Yi Shiwen would still be representing their Wang family to take part in the competition to contend for slots. Whether the Wang family could get 2 more slots, this time depended on Yi Ziwen's performance. If the Wang family failed, it would naturally have little effect on Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun, because those 2 slots definitely belonged to them. But for the others, this was an excellent opportunity. If the Wang family failed, they would not have a chance, but if the Wang family succeeded, even if Yi Shiwen took a slot, wasn't there still one more left? It was precisely because of this that their feelings toward Yi Shiwen were very complicated. But regardless of whether they liked or disliked Yi Shiwen, the fact that Yi Shiwen defeated Wang Feiyun in one move spread quickly, and the Wang family was shocked. That can't be true. Wang Feiyun was defeated in a single move? This is simply a preposterous story. Could it be that an old Transcendent Realm 3rd or 4th level monster was the one who attacked instead? No. He's not even a young master. He's just a half-step Transcendent Realm kid. Half-step Transcendent Realm? This is impossible. The gap between half-step Transcendent Realm and Transcendent Realm is a world apart. It is impossible for him to contend with a Transcendent Realm, let alone defeat one in a single move. But this is the case now. The ancient Baron's mainland is so vast. In the limitless sea region, who knows how many monstrous geniuses there are? It is not surprising that someone can do it. But in any case, this Yi Shiwen is to represent our Wang family to contend for slots. The stronger he is, the better, isn't it? Immediately, the Wang family was thoroughly heated up like boiling water. In fact, the person Yi Shiwen defeated was not an average person. Although Wang Feiyun was slightly inferior to Wang Mingyu, it was only by a small margin. Among the younger generation of the Wang family, he ranked second, and even many of the masters from the older generation were not on par with him. It would be different if it had been a hard fight to defeat Wang Feiyun, but to trounce him, this was far beyond the Wang family's imagination. Under normal circumstances, the numerous senior officials in the Wang family would feel that this was a slap in the face, and would not leave the matter at that. However, now they were in a completely different mood because Yi Shiwen was to battle on their behalf, so naturally the stronger the better. However, because of Wang Feiyun's crushing defeat, no one else was stupid enough to trouble Yi Shiwen. Even if Wang Feiyun was not as good as Wang Mingyu, he was still far more powerful than the others. Even Wang Yunfei was defeated in a single move, let alone them. This person was too terrifying and was not someone they could handle. Amid the uproar, 10 days passed quickly. In Yi Zaiwen's small yard, he was deducing a set of seemingly unremarkable punches over and over again. His body was soaked with sweat, especially his forehead, densely covered in beads of sweat. Yi Zaiwen's current body was already unaffected by typical hot and cold. Even a temperature of several hundred degrees couldn't make him sweat a bit, let alone sweat all over his body. Huff, this is still no good. Yi Shiwen opened his eyes and exhaled. Qi circulated through his whole body, and all the sweat on his body evaporated. Ever since he came to the ancient Baron's mainland, Yi Shiwen felt that many of the martial arts he learned now seemed a bit outdated, including the shattered star fist that he was famous for and had been using to battle for many years. Even so, shattered star fist was still very powerful. Even in the transcendent realm, it was still a mighty punch, but it no longer had the power to end the battle like it used to. Yi Shiwen wanted to create a new move using the original, shattered star fist, as a base, but even with the mysterious space constantly deriving the inspiration in his mind, there was still not much progress. Maybe there was not enough time or opportunities. It was not that easy to create a move that could kill a transcendent realm with one blow. But fortunately, he didn't need to worry too much for the time being. Whether it was Demon Wings, Phoenix regeneration technique, or overturning the Heaven's Seal, he had not been overwhelmed yet. Among these martial art techniques, Demon Wings was the Demon King's movement technique at that time. Naturally, it was unpredictable. Also, the Phoenix regeneration technique and the overturning the Heaven's Seal were two lost techniques that were inseparable from the Thousands Demon Beasts Island where the Beast Emperor resided. This meteor explosion move is still a little lacking, but it is only a prototype. Yi Shiwen was a little distressed. He named this new killer move Meteor Explosion. The principle behind it was the terrifying force generated when a star exploded. Any enemy could become annihilated. It just seemed that he was still missing an opportunity. Yi Shiwen had the mysterious space and Mingxin ancient tree, which were two great tools for enlightening. Despite so, he couldn't learn it in a short time. It was definitely not that simple to create a martial art technique. If he continued close cultivation, he should be able to derive it. It was nothing more than consuming more spiritual energy. For Yi Shiwen, who had a dragon vein, this was not a problem. He did not have that much time because the spiritual volcano slot contest had already begun. There was the sound of footsteps outside the yard. After a while, a group of people appeared outside Yi Zaiwen's yard. The leaders were Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun. There were two other young people with equally arrogant faces behind them, whose cultivation had already achieved Transcendent Realm first level. Although they were slightly inferior to Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun, they were all extremely talented from Yi Zaiwen's perspective. When he thought about the size of true martial school, there were only a handful of talented ones among the younger generation. Of course, if Mu Xingjie came to the ancient Baron's mainland, He would probably have broken into Transcendent Realm a long time ago, maybe even break through a few levels consecutively. Seeing Yi Shiwen, Wang Feiyan's gaze flickered a little. His feelings were similarly very conflicted. Facing this person who defeated him in one move, he didn't even know how to describe this feeling in his heart. It was like an arrogant frog who had suddenly been told one day that the sky it knew was only as big as a well. It was equivalent to a slap to his face, hot and painful, but he had no other options. Compared to Wang Feiyan's complicated emotions, Wang Mingyu did not have so many qualms. She was the one who brought Yi Shiwen back. The better he performed, the happier she would naturally be. It also proved how accurate her vision was. "Brother Yi, have you been resting well for the past few days?" Wang Mingyu said with a smile. Yi Shiwen nodded. He hadn't rested for a day in the past few days. He had spent his time deriving meteor explosion. "Let's go." Yi Shiwen knew why they had come. It was to ask him to take part in the contest for slots. In the contest for slots on South Initiate Island, the three prominent families, which included the Wang family, Wu family, and Yuan family, had sent 5 masters from the younger generation each. Besides them, there was no limit on how many other individual cultivators could take part. However, no matter how many individual cultivators participated, there were only 2 slots for them in the end. The 3 prominent families already monopolized this spiritual volcano. If not for the fear that the public would revolt, they would not even give up those 2 slots. In the earliest days, it was an internal competition between the 3 prominent families. The winner would obtain 4 slots while the 2 losers would only get 3 slots each. Later, the 3 prominent families' actions incited dissatisfaction among many individual cultivators on the island, resulting in several big conflicts. The 3 prominent families were forced to compromise. This time the Wang family sent 5 people. In addition to Wang Mingyu, Wang Feiyun and Yi Shiwen, there were 2 other outstanding warriors from the Wang family, Wang Feiling and Wang Xian. The competition was held in the center of the city this time, not in any place that belonged to one of the 3 prominent families. The arena was already set up. Anyone could go and sign up as long as they wanted to. In the end, victory was decided based on who was crowned champion among the 3 prominent families. Therefore, it was useless to send more people. If one won, they could take up to 4 slots, no more. This was a compromise between the 3 prominent families, so the 3 prominent families sent their families' most elite masters. This grand event only happened once in decades, so it attracted countless people from South Initiate Island. Even martial arts masters nearby rushed to South Initiate Island as early as possible. The city was noisy with voices. Masters from all walks of life gathered, among which was no shortage of Transcendent Realm first-level masters. However, all of them shared one characteristic. They were all from the younger generation, and were under the age of 500. Those older than that were not allowed to join. The 3 prominent families had masters on site to keep watch. A young appearance meant nothing, but one's bone age could not be faked and was impossible to falsify. Compared to a 5,000 years old great sage, a transcendent realm lived an even longer life. Those under 500 years old could indeed be considered the younger generation. But only the ancient barons mainland could gather so many transcendent realm masters under the age of 500. In the true martial domain, Huang Wuji was over 1,000 years old when he broke into the transcendent realm. In the middle of the city, 10 arenas were set up. Among these 10 arenas, whoever could last till the end would enter the final top 10. If individual cultivators occupied more than 2 slots among the 10, they would have to battle it out to decide on the final 2 people. There was no other way. Compared to the 3 prominent families, their strengths were far behind. "Mingyu, you're here." An eager voice came from afar. Everyone looked up only to see Wu Chunhai walking over quickly with several young masters from Wu family in tow. Chapter 839. The Wang family? Completely ignored. Wu Chunhai walked up to the Wang family's group eagerly. When he saw Yi Shiwen, his facial expression soured a little, but it only soured a little before it returned to normal. Wang Mingyu didn't grace him with a welcoming face, and just glanced at Wu Chunhai coldly. Whether it was the grievances between the Wang family and Wu family or Wu Chenhai's actions, she felt extremely annoyed by him. Seeing that Wang Mingyu ignored him, Wu Chenhai just chuckled. He then looked at Wang Feiyun and said, "Wang Feiyun, I heard that you were defeated again? TSK, it seems that the Wang family doesn't have masters anymore." Wang Feiyun's face became slightly ashen. He looked at Wu Chenhai as if he wanted to eat him, for no reason other than because Wu Chenhai once defeated him. At that time, when he was just half-step Transcendent Realm, he tried to challenge Wu Chenhai, one of the 3 top talents from the younger generation on South Initiate Island. His cultivation had always been closely behind these 3 geniuses, but he didn't feel that he was weaker than them. He just felt that he became famous a little late, so he had gone and challenged Wu Chenhai. He didn't expect that before he could execute 10 moves, he experienced a crushing defeat in the hands of Wu Chenhai. This was the biggest humiliation of his life. It was even more humiliating than being defeated by Yi Shiwen in 1 move. After all, Yi Shiwen was not his enemy. It was far from the humiliation he felt when Wu Chenhai defeated him in 10 moves. From then on, did he truly understand that even though they were in the same realm, the gap between them was vastly different. Compared to Wang Mingyu and Wu Chenhai, there was still a vast gap between him and them. "We don't need your Wu family to stick your noses in our Wang family's affairs," said Wang Mingyu coldly. Although she wasn't on very good terms with Wang Feiyun was still way better than the annoying Wu Chenhai. As if he was already used to Wang Menjia's cold words, Wu Chenhai ignored Wang Menjia's remarks and said, "I will introduce you. This is Jia Qing from Sea Dragon Mansion." When he heard that our spiritual volcano was about to open, Brother Jia came to help the Wu family. Wu Chenhai directly introduced the man behind him, who had an arrogant expression and appeared to be 27 years old. Upon hearing this, the faces of the Wang family disciples suddenly soured. This Jia Qing was a disciple of Sea Dragon Mansion. What kind of force is this Sea Dragon Mansion? Yi Shiwen asked Wang Mingyu through a voice transmission. He noticed that everyone in the Wang family seemed to be very afraid of Sea Dragon Mansion. Sea Dragon Mansion is one of the 3 dominant forces in our flourished Cloud Sea region. Including our South Initiate Island, we are all under the jurisdiction of Sea Dragon Mansion. Sea Dragon Mansion is full of masters. Every young master in this sea region experts aims to join Sea Dragon Mansion. I initially planned to wait until I got to bathe in the spiritual volcano to break through into Transcendent Realm 2nd level, and then join Sea Dragon Mansion. Without hiding anything, Wang Mingyu told Yi Shiwen some information about Sea Dragon Mansion. Yi Shiwen took a deep breath. Even someone like Wang Mingyu had to try their best to join. Even South Initiate Island, which produced many Transcendent Realm Masters, were under its jurisdiction. The power of Sea Dragon Mansion was hard to imagine. No wonder the Wang family people were so afraid they heard Jia Qing was a Sea Dragon Mansion disciple. Like in true martial domain, it was similar to how those individual cultivators talked about true martial school disciples. It was not just because of the deterrence of the true martial school itself. It was more about how in true martial school, whether in terms of cultivation resources or the various martial arts lineages, the individual cultivators were far from being on par. Compared to a behemoth like Sea Dragon Mansion, the 3 prominent families were no different from individual cultivators. More importantly, Jia Qing's cultivation seemed to have just ascended to Transcendent Realm 2nd level. His vibe was still a bit unstable. It was leaking out and not concealed at all. It was much stronger than Wang Mingyu and the others. They expected the Wu family might have invited powerful help from outside. Still, they didn't expect that they could invite a Sea Dragon Mansion disciple, and a Transcendent Realm 2nd level master at that. This time, their Wang family was in jeopardy. The confidence they had because of the power Yi Shiwen displayed suddenly disappeared. They didn't think Yi Shiwen could compete with a Transcendent Realm 2nd level master. Wu Chenhai looked at the Wang family's soured expressions with glee. He thought if the spiritual volcano wasn't about to open, how could they have invited Jia Qing? Because once Jia Qing bathes in the spiritual volcano, he can stabilize his Transcendent Realm 2nd level cultivation immediately, and even enter Transcendent Realm 2nd level peak in one go. He will be able to enter the Transcendent Realm 3rd level at any time. Only this persuaded Jiaqing to join the Wu family's side. Although they were reluctant to give up one slot, it didn't matter. As long as they could suppress the Wang family, it would all be worth it. It seems that your Wang family is going to be at the bottom again. After all, you have lost the championship 10 times in a row. TSK, said Wu Chunhai with some disdain. Everyone in the Wang family instantly became even angrier. Still, they couldn't say a word because they had indeed failed to win the championship 10 times, which resulted in getting a whole 20 slots less than the Wu family and the Yuan family. If it continued for a more extended period of time, they would only decline further. By then, self-preservation would become a problem, let alone maintaining their position as one of the 3 prominent families. There is no proof. You still only know once we have a real battle. Wang Mingyu snorted coldly. Is a battle still necessary? I want to win the championship this time. Before Wu Chunhai could speak, Jiaqing, who stood beside Wu Chunhai, sneered and said with an arrogant expression. Even though Wang Mingyu was a famous genius on South Initiate Island, he didn't take her seriously. He came from a well-known sect. He was a Sea Dragon Mansion disciple, and his cultivation crushed everyone present. From his perspective, naturally, a battle was unnecessary. You better not come into contact with me. Otherwise, my fists do not discriminate. I couldn't care less if I injure you severely. Everyone in the Wang family was infuriated. This was blatant scorn. Jiaqing did not take the Wang family seriously at all, and even scorned them. Wang Mingyu was about to fight back when suddenly, a noise came from the distance. Yuan Shuahai is here, someone yelled. Everyone looked over and saw a tall, young man dressed in blue stride to the Yuan family's dais. His temperament was icy, like an iceberg, as if he wanted to freeze people from one glance. He is my opponent. Jiaqing just looked at Yuan Shuahai coldly, his expression becoming a little excited. On South Initiate Island, he finally met an opponent worth battling. The Wang family, who had been ignored directly, were outraged. You guys just do your best. Wu Chunhai chuckled. He led the Wu family's people straight in the direction of the arena. Asshole, he's too arrogant. He didn't take our Wang family seriously at all. Damn it. We have to show them what we're made of. Compared to the outrage of the Wang family's ordinary disciples, Wang Mingyu and the others had slight concern on their faces. Jiaqing had already entered Transcendent Realm 2nd level. Since Jiaqing named Yuan Shuahai as his opponent, could Yuan Shuahai have already entered Transcendent Realm 2nd level? Thinking of this, Wang Mingjia's facial expression suddenly changed. Among the 3 young masters on the island, Wu Chunhai and Yuan Shuahai were called the 3 heroes. The 3 heroes' cultivation had always been equal, but Yuan Shuahai might have unexpectedly entered Transcendent Realm 2nd level, one step ahead of them. This made her feel a little anxious. And if Yuan Shuahai had entered Transcendent Realm 2nd level, this competition might not involve the Wang family. They might have to face their 11th defeat. By then, the Wang family's disadvantage would only increase. By then, they might not be part of the 3 prominent families anymore. She turned back to glance at Yi Shiwen, but saw that he was still indifferent. From time to time his eyes would turn blank, as if he was thinking about something. She couldn't help but feel a little depressed, while Yi Shiwen was not worried about anything. But when she thought about it, she found it a little funny. Well, Yi Shiwen was not from the Wang family anyway, so why would he get upset about this kind of thing? He could shake it off and leave. Everyone in the Wang family quickly headed toward the arena. At that time, many people were battling in the 10 arenas. But they were mostly individual cultivators and no strong masters. And if the other disciples of the 3 prominent families felt that they were strong enough, they could also participate. However, no matter what the final result was, it only came down to the 3 prominent families' results. The families would not get an extra slot from the other disciples' achievements. For the disciples of the 3 prominent families, this was also an opportunity to distinguish themselves. If they could surprise everyone in the arena, they might receive attention and training from the 3 prominent families' senior officials. At that point, they would soar to the sky. Now those in the arenas were mainly the individual cultivators. None of the masters from the three prominent families had entered the arena. Among the individual cultivators, besides the powerful ones aiming for spiritual volcano, there were also some whose goal was to attract the three prominent families' attention to join the family. If they became the family's guest or a teacher, they could enjoy the three major families' resources. Then they could save effort worth hundreds or thousands of years. Among these individual cultivators, none of them were compelling. They were half-step transcendent realm. Occasionally, there were one or two great sage masters who could defeat a half-step transcendent realm masters, which impressed people. That said, there was nothing very dazzling about them at all. After another hour, the many individual cultivator masters who should go up in battle had already finished battling. After that, masters from the three prominent families appeared one after another. Naturally, the scene escalated to a greater height. The three major families' representatives were still waiting, seemingly waiting for the perfect opportunity to take the stage. Chapter 840, Wuchun High Attacks. Wang Feiyun, come and fight me if you dare. A loud shout came from Yuan family's master seat. Then a yellow figure jumped out from the Yuan family's master seat and flew directly onto the stage. Everyone stared intently. It was a young man dressed in a khaki robe, wielding a 3-foot sword in his hand. His gaze was sharp, piercing straight through the void to look at Wang Feiyun. The Wang family disciple, who was in the arena, felt quite awkward. He didn't know what to do or whether he should stay or not. He just defeated an opponent. At this time, just as he was full of spirits, he didn't want to face off with the Transcendent Realm Master directly. Although this Yuan family master had only just stepped into the Transcendent Realm, a half-step Transcendent Realm warrior could not be compared to him. Come back. You cannot beat him. Wang Feiyun sighed. He took a step forward, and his figure leapt out. In the next moment, he already appeared in the arena. The Wang family disciple breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Wang Feiyun come up, but he was also a little frustrated. He hadn't gotten enough limelight before he had to make his exit, but there was no other way. The two had already surpassed the Transcendent Realm, and he couldn't contend with either of them. He could only retreat with a bitter smile. No way. It only just began, but the Wang family's Wang Feiyun has already taken the stage. It's too early. Yes, Wang Feiyun ranked 4th in the last arena. He is also a famous master from the young generation on our island. He is taking the stage so early. Let him. As long as we get to see an interesting battle. Yuan Xueqing, I didn't expect you to have surpassed the Transcendent Realm in under 10 years. Wang Feiyun glanced at the Yuan family master mildly. It's all thanks to you. The young man Yuan Xueqing said with a bit of hatred. I also didn't expect that it would be a blessing in disguise, and now I can even enter Transcendent Realm. But even if you enter Transcendent Realm, you can't contend with me, so just admit defeat. Wang Feiyun said lightly. Although he might not be as good as Wang Mingyu, it was just wishful thinking for a person who just entered the Transcendent Realm to want to defeat him. Asshole, don't be too arrogant. Yuan Xueqing yelled violently. His eyes became fierce, and a thick chi swept out like a tide and headed toward Wang Feiyun. Chong! The long sword in his hand flashed with silver light and pierced the vast sky. It blasted toward Wang Feiyun. His body followed the sword, and his figure leapt out instantly. It was swift. Everyone only felt their eyes blur. But his long sword had already reached Wang Feiyun. Many warriors in the audience with weaker cultivation can't help but exclaim. Their cultivation was too low to see through the sword momentum of this move. There were many Transcendent Realm Masters in the three prominent families, but for most people, a Transcendent Realm Master was 1 in a million, a pitiful number. At that moment, Wang Feiyun moved instantly. He instantly shot out return to the cloud hand. Majestic cloud aura sputtered out in an instant, colliding heavily with the long sword. The majestic cloud aura and the sword chi shot out unimaginable sparks in the air. Wang Feiyun's return to the cloud hand directly blocked his offense. There was no way to penetrate his cloud aura. Dang! 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 Wang Feiyun transformed his palm into claws and immediately grabbed at his opponent. There was a crisp sound of steel shattering. The long sword in Yuan Zicheng's hand, together with its sword chi, was snapped off. Boom! A low sound was heard in the arena. Everyone saw Wang Feiyun deliver a kick. Yuan Xueqing didn't know how many of his ribs had been broken. His body was like a kite with a broken string. It glided in a beautiful parabola in the sky and rolled out of the arena directly. Everyone realized that even though he had been utterly defeated by Yi Shiwen and rendered unable to fight back, it didn't mean that he was too weak, but that Yi Shiwen was too terrifying. Especially the masters of the Wang family. They knew more about the battle between Wang Feiyun and Yi Shiwen than the outsiders. Others only know that Wang Feiyun was defeated again. As for how he was defeated, they didn't have the slightest clue, but the Wang family knew that the battle between Wang Feiyun and Yi Shiwen only lasted for one round. Yi Shiwen defeated Wang Feiyun just as easily as Wang Feiyun defeated Yuan Xueqing. Hearing everyone's astonished mutterings, Wang Feiyun felt a sense of pride. Over the past 10 days, he kept getting criticized by the Wang family because he lost to Yi Shiwen. Many people didn't understand how terrifying Yi Shiwen was. They just saw that Wang Feiyun was defeated in a single move. All kinds of nasty rumors about him spread throughout the family. It was precisely for this reason that he chose to take the stage just after a slight provocation from his opponent. It was to prove to others that he was not incompetent, but that Yi Shiwen was just too strong. Although he might not be pleased about Yi Shiwen right now, he had to acknowledge Yi Ziwen's strength. Now you people have seen it. Yuan Xueqing reluctantly got up from the ground. He shot a vicious look at Wang Feiyun and said, "I will challenge you again. Who else wants to come up and get schooled?" Wang Feiyun said to everyone with clasped hands. Many masters in the audience who had initially planned to go on stage and try suddenly changed their minds. Initially, a master like Wang Feiyun and Wang Mingyu should not appear until the last few rounds. Wang Feiyun unexpectedly appeared so early today, reducing many people's desire to battle. "Hee, let me try you." A sneer came from Wu family's seat, and a figure flew onto the stage. It was none other than Wu Chunhai. What's going on here? Why are these young masters rushing up there one by one? In the past, didn't they have to wait until the finale? Everyone was shocked to see Wu Chunhai appear. They didn't know what was happening. These young masters were coming out one by one, which was beyond everyone's expectations. Yes, and these young masters would often avoid each other's arenas, each guarding one arena, and then wait until 10 places are determined to have another battle. Now they are rushing down one by one? Could it be that something happened? It is said that this time the Wang family invited a disciple of Sea Dragon Mansion to help. They are aiming to win the championship this time. Speaking of which, the Wang family has already lost 10 times in 500 years. During this period, the Wu family and Yuan family have been taking turns to win the championship. But this time will surely be interesting. This Wang Feiyun is the strongest master besides the 3 young masters. He lost to Wu Chunhai in 10 moves last time, but his cultivation must have improved to an unbelievable point after 50 years. He might even beat Wu Chunhai. I'm not optimistic about him. As he improves, would Wu Chunhai remain in the same spot? Also, I heard that he lost again, this time to a guest of the Wang family. It's you. Wang Feiyun looked at Wu Chunhai coldly. His eyes were cold and murderous. Why? You don't dare anymore? Sneered Wu Chunhai. What's there to be scared of? I'm just thinking about getting my revenge, said Wang Feiyun coldly. Hee, there isn't even the need for Brother Jia to appear today. I alone can suppress all your Wang family's master, said Wu Chunhai arrogantly, his hands behind his back. He did not take the young masters of the Wang family seriously. As soon as those words were uttered, there was an uproar. Especially the many elders of the Wang family who were watching the battle also suddenly became angry. Arrogant. Maniac. Arrogant brat. Many elders were enraged. The 3 prominent families had been abreast for a long time. For such a long period of time, it was naturally impossible to remain evenly matched. The 3 major families had their own moments of weakness, but generally speaking, there was still room for each other. For example, each family's young masters would try not to appear in the same arena to avoid a duel between 2 powerhouses. They also tended to wait until the top 10 was decided first before determining the winner and losers. Wu Chenhai's actions were clearly a slap in the face. Who didn't have moments of weakness? To them, doing this was an act of extreme arrogance. Wang Huayang sat high above on the family master's seat. His expression was unchanged, but one could tell that he was also angry by looking at his tightly clenched fists. Unlike the anger felt by the Wang family, the elders on the Wu family all thought it was only natural. How arrogant! Don't forget. You were defeated by Sister Yu last time. Wang Feiyun sneered and said. He was also burning with rage. Shut up. Wu Chenhai's expression changed. To him, that was the biggest stain on his life. Whether or not I'm arrogant, you will know if you try. Wu Chenhai moved instantaneously. He suddenly rose from the ground, lifting his long legs. Like a meteor, he aimed a kick at Wang Feiyun in an instant. He was swift, almost as fast as lightning. Wang Feiyun immediately stretched out his big hand that was covered in clouds and mist. He directly launched Return to the Cloud Hand's most powerful killer move. He knew very well how terrifying the Wu Chenhai in front of him was. Wu Chenhai was the terrifying master he couldn't beat despite using all his tricks. Boom! The two sides collided with each other in the void. The deep sound of impact against flesh quickly spread. Scattered energy swept in all directions. Wu Chenhai took a small step backward but then suddenly kicked out again. In the void like a white rainbow, he aimed a hard kick at Wang Feiyun. Chapter 841. Shocking attack. Wu Chenhai's leg technique was strong and powerful, just like a dragon. He easily broke through Wang Feiyun's Return to the Cloud Hand, and was abnormally relaxed. Wang Feiyun's facial expression gradually soured. It looked like he pushed Wu Chenhai back, but in actuality, his strongest move could only force Wu Chenhai back. Boom! 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 One side excelled at leg techniques while the other excelled at palm techniques. They fought together in the void. Both sides exchanged blows in haste, so fast that ordinary people could not see them, and could only hear a muffled sound of breaking through the air. He's going to lose. In the seat, Yi Shiwen suddenly spoke. Who is going to lose? Asked Wang Mingyu. Wang Feiyun is going to lose, said Yi Shiwen. Why? Wang Mingyu asked. She naturally knew that Wang Feiyun could not contend with Wu Chenhai, but so far, Wang Feiyun didn't seem to be losing badly. Why did Yi Shiwen determine that Wang Feiyun would lose here? The reason is simple. You didn't realize that Wu Chenhai is controlling the pace of the entire battle, said Yi Shiwen. Wang Mingyu thought about it. It was indeed the case. The entire battle was mostly under Wu Chenhai's control. Although they were both Transcendent Realm First Level, Wu Chenhai was far more powerful than Wang Feiyun. Wang Feiyun has used up his moves. He already used his most powerful killing move. There doesn't seem to be anything else that can threaten Wu Chenhai, so after Wu Chenhai probes further on the limits, he probably won't hold back anymore. Yi Shiwen explained for his own sake. From his perspective, everything was self-explanatory. That Yuan Xueqing from earlier had just entered the Transcendent Realm First Level, but Wang Feiyun was already Transcendent Realm First Level peak, so Wang Feiyun defeated Yuan Xueqing in one move. However, Wu Chenhai was stronger and definitely had the strength of a sect master. Including Wang Mingyu, they all had the combat power of a sect master. Although the gap did not seem big with the difference pertaining to the word peak, it was enough to decide the winner. The two finally stopped. Wang Feiyun was gasping slightly, while Wu Chenhai had a small smile on his face. Wu Chenhai laughed coldly and said, "If you're only this strong, then my next kick will cripple you." Wang Feiyun took a deep breath and said, "Just come at me. With just one kick, I'll cripple you." Wu Chenhai sneered. He instantly lifted his leg, and countless spiritual energy around him was set in motion. The spiritual energy formed a huge vortex in front of him, unleashing a terrifying power. Wang Feiyun's expression suddenly changed. He felt his whole body freeze. Even the air was frozen in place, and he could not move at all. It was just a moment, but against a top master, it was enough to be fatal. Not good. Wang Feiyun's expression changed suddenly. Instantly, The qi all over his body surged. Clouds gathered in his hand, wrapping it in layers of cloud aura. He used his hand to protect his body. Boom. There was the dull sound of impact against flesh. Wu Chenhai's kick directly pierced through the void and landed Wang Feiyan's hands that were protecting his chest. The cloud aura wrapped around Wang Feiyan's hands was also kicked away in an instant. Crack. A clear and loud fracture sound was heard, and Wang Feiyan let out a scream as his body flew out horizontally. He spurted out a mouthful of blood. His body somersaulted in the sky a few times. Then he fell to the ground harshly and lost consciousness straight away. Feiyun, brother Yin. At that moment, everyone in the Wang family cried out in exclamation. Unexpectedly, the two elders quickly went down and moved Wang Feiyun. The crowd was in an uproar. They didn't expect that Wang Feiyun, who seemed so fierce just now, actually got so seriously injured by only one kick to the point where it was unknown whether he was alive. This Wu Chenhai is much more terrifying compared to 50 years ago. 50 years ago, he was not a transcendent realm yet. But 50 years later, today, not only has he broke through to transcendent realm, and his combat power is so terrifying. It's unbelievable. Yes, they're both transcendent realm first level, but the gap in strength is vast. Are the three major young masters so powerful? He went too far. This was just a learning opportunity, but Wu Chenhai was so cruel. An elder of the Wang family retorted as he checked Wang Feiyan's injuries. Both of Wang Feiyan's arms were crippled straight away from the kick. Even if he was a transcendent realm master, his physical body was far better than an ordinary warrior, and his recovery ability was also much more potent than an ordinary person's. However, to recover from these injuries would take more than a year. There might be even internal injuries left behind. Martial arts don't discriminate. What's so strange about it? If you're afraid of getting hurt, then don't take part. An elder of the Wu family disagreed with this opinion and sneered. You damn it. The Wang family's elders were furious. Wang Mingyu was about to stand up and go down to face the battle, but she was stopped by a hand pressing her back to the seat. A clear voice said warmly, "You don't have to go. Leave it to me." She turned her head to see that it was Yi Shiwen who stood up from his place. "Since I have received your family's benefits, leave the rest to me." Yi Shiwen smiled faintly. There was only a faint smile on that not very handsome face, but it was very heartwarming. Wang Mingyu was taken aback, and then she nodded. She couldn't give a reason, but she simply trusted Yi Shiwen. Initially, she wanted to make Yi Shiwen the trump card, but now it seemed impossible. Yi Shiwen, this treasured sword, was about to be unsheathed. Yi Shiwen tapped his toes lightly, and his figure suddenly appeared in the middle of the second arena like a breeze. "This time, let me be your opponent," said Yi Shiwen said plainly. "It's you? Good, very good," Wu Chenhai said, looking at Yi Shiwen with slight ferocity. "I was going to look for you. I didn't expect you to show up." "It's nothing more than a matter of sooner or later," said Yi Shiwen calmly. Light flashed in Wu Chenhai's eyes. For him, this Yi Shiwen was a target to kill. For this kid, Wang Mingyu even shouted at him. Although he didn't care about Wang Mingyu the way he pretended to, Wang Mingyu was already predetermined to be his woman, and he would never allow her to have feelings for others. Since you are now in the arena, then it's life and death, and it's up to the heavens." Wu Chenhai sneered. "Don't blame me when you die. As they say, if one pays me, I will save them from disaster. Initially, after receiving benefits from the Wang family, I only planned to cripple your hands with a kick, but it seems that it is far from enough." Yi Shiwen said and sighed. "You're courting death." Wu Chenhai finally found the reason why he hated this kid from the very beginning. It was his tone, his facial expressions, that kind of indifference mixed with a little disdain, as if Wu Chenhai didn't deserve to contend with him at all. This kind of expression made Yi Shiwen very annoying, because only Wu Chenhai could treat others like this. No one had ever dared to show him this kind of expression. So he hated Yi Shiwen from the beginning. Violent wind kick. Wu Chenhai sneered and immediately unleashed a kick. The shadows of his leg were all over the sky. Even ordinary people couldn't see where the shadows were. Compared to the fight against Wang Feiyun just now, he had become even more overwhelming. Clearly, he didn't use his full strength when he fought against Wang Feiyun just now. The primary essence of the violent wind kick was speed. It was faster than others, even faster than wind. In an instant, the gust from the kick formed a huge storm, which instantly swept towards Yi Shiwen. Everyone was a little stunned. They didn't expect Wu Chunhai, who had been hiding his strength just now, to attack with all his strength. Was this Yi Shiwen a mighty opponent? To force Wu Chunhai to use all his strength to defend himself. Oh, I suddenly remembered, this is that Yi Shiwen. There are rumors in the Wang family that this Yi Shiwen defeated Wang Feiyun in one move. No wonder Wu Chunhai is going all out. What? How is it possible? No matter how weak Wang Feiyun is, it is impossible to lose in one move. This is something Wu Chunhai, one of the 3 major young masters, can't do. Yes, this rumor spread from the Wang family. I didn't believe it before and thought the Wang family was joking, but now that I think about it, it might be true. Someone instantly exposed Yi Ziwen's identity and instilled doubt in everyone's hearts. Only they didn't know that the reason why Wu Chunhai went all out was because he hated Yi Shiwen. He wanted to go all out to beat him to death on the spot. Killing Wang Feiyun might incite intense backlash from the Wang family, but Yi Shiwen was just a guest. If he died, he died. It didn't mean anything at all. At that moment, Yi Shiwen moved. Compared to Wu Chunhai's stormy leg techniques, Yi Shiwen raised his leg and launched it in a very ordinary way without any leg techniques. It was just a regular kick. But with his kick, bursts of loud noises came from the sky. He kicked the air so hard it completely exploded. Wherever he passed by, the air exploded completely, and space began to twist violently. What? Wang Menjia's eyes were extremely shocked. She couldn't believe what she saw. Although the cultivation environment in ancient Baron's mainland was much better than that of true martial domain, space was far sturdier than true martial domain. Yi Shiwen could easily break apart the space in true martial domain, but it would be impossible in this ancient Baron's mainland. So even if one was a transcendent realm master, one could only break the air. But using martial arts to break the air was not the same as the power from Yi Ziwen's simple kick. He broke the air with one kick, without using qi or any martial arts, with just a simple kick. What level of strength and speed would make this possible? The current Wang Mingyu couldn't possibly do it. With just one attack, Yi Shiwen announced his decisive strike. Chapter 842. Crippling Wu Chunhai with a kick. Yi Ziwen's attack shocked all the experts. Boom. The kicks from both sides slammed into each other in midair. Yi Ziwen's leg wasn't wrapped in any qi, but it seemed to have the armor penetration effect. Where Yi Ziwen's leg passed by, the storm that Wu Chunhai ignited all dissipated, kicked away by him. After kicking away the storm that covered the whole sky, Yi Shiwen went straight for Wu Chunhai's chest with the same force. Wu Chunhai abruptly tapped his toes and retreated to the sidelines, narrowly dodging Yi Ziwen's leg whip. There was a cold sweat dripping down his back. His expression was slightly stunned, then it became solemn. He stepped back just now to avoid Yi Ziwen's leg whip entirely out of instinct. Now that he thought about it, the subconscious action just now was the right one. Just a simple kick broke the air. This kind of power and speed was simply unbelievable. If he got kicked directly just now, even if he survived, he would be crippled. He finally understood that Yi Shiwen was not nobody whom he could flatten and roll into a ball, but a fierce tiger that could threaten him. I really can't let my guard down for a single moment. Wu Chunhai pretended to be relaxed, but he already increased his vigilance to the highest level on the inside. He regarded Yi Shiwen as a strong opponent. Just now he wanted to kick Yi Shiwen to death on the spot out of hatred, but now, he had to go all out. You are worthy of making me attack you. Are you just interested? Yi Shiwen smiled. Wu Chunhai didn't answer, and just walked up step by step. Thick qi spread out in all directions, and together with a monstrous momentum, a terrifying storm swept out. He enveloped himself in it, appearing like a miniature walking storm. When he walked less than 3 feet in front of Yi Shiwen, he immediately kicked up a strong attack. His leg technique was like swifty wind. Every kick-out was like a hurricane, and as fast as lightning without losing its dominating nature. The destructive power of the terrifying storm was completely reflected in the gust from his kick. In an instant, the sky was full of the shadows of his legs and storms, sealing up all the space for Yi Shiwen could use to escape. He was about to kick Yi Shiwen to death, and didn't plan to hold anything back. Wu Chunhai wants to go all out. Isn't this the last move in Violent Wind technique, Mighty Storm? Yes, that's right. This is Mighty Storm. They said he learned this move under the stormy conditions at sea. Once he attacks, it will be a completely airtight and complete slaughter. Although it is a wide-range attack, every kick can easily kill a Transcendent Realm first-level master. Everyone in the audience was discussing it. They were stunned. Wu Chunhai had been famous for many years. Actually, many people already knew some of his moves, but they just knew it. Sometimes just knowing was useless. Even if they knew, the only two people who could withstand Mighty Storm was only Yuan Shuahai and Wang Mingyu. The others didn't necessitate this trick at all. Facing such a terrifying leg technique, Yi Shiwen didn't even blink an eye. He suddenly lifted his leg and kicked out. It appeared to be a simple kick, but it once again broke the air easily. Everywhere it passed, the leg shadows in the sky exploded in an instant. Not a single storm could rush to Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen was like a small boat facing the monstrous waves. It seemed like he might lose at any time. But in the eyes of true experts, he was not in any danger at all. Yi Zaiwen's leg whip didn't look fast at all. It just seemed like a strong and heavy force, but just this leg whip that wasn't even covered in qi became an airtight protection for his body. No matter how Wu Chunhai attacked, it was useless. It was impossible to hurt him. Many people were secretly surprised that Yi Shiwen was clearly stronger than they thought. At worst, he was on the same level as Wang Mingyu and Wu Chunhai. And in the arena, Wu Chunhai, who had been taking the initiative all this time, was suddenly anxious. He understood that although it seemed like he had always been taking the initiative now, the fact was almost none of the storms he kicked up in the sky could threaten Yi Shiwen. They couldn't even get close to Yi Shiwen, let alone threaten his life. If this continued, he himself would be defeated out of exhaustion. This mighty storm was mighty and had a broad range, but it also consumed a lot of qi. He was not like Yi Shiwen, who could be regarded as a beast wearing human skin. His qi could not last. And he also knew that although this kind of scattered attack seemed powerful, it was only good for group attacks. When only facing one master, its power was divided. He made a decision immediately. His figure instantly rose from the ground and leapt into midair. He stirred up storms all over the sky, and all the surrounding spiritual energy was extracted in an instant, forming a giant leg shadow in the sky, turning into a massive storm about to crash on Yi Zaiwen's body. Boom! There was a loud bang, and the entire arena shook slightly. These arenas were continuously strengthened by generations of masters from the three prominent families, and were very difficult to destroy. Otherwise, the previous attack would have been enough to destroy the entire arena. Even so, the terrifying blast stirred up wind and sand in the sky, and the flying sand and rocks covered in energy were swept in all directions. At that moment, the onlookers could only hurriedly activate their aura barrier to block the flying energy and sand from outside. Although this energy was only shockwaves, it even severely injured some great sages. How terrifying! What an overwhelming move! Countless people were amazed. The power of this move was too strong. Fortunately, it was all directed at Yi Shiwen. Otherwise, if the move had been directed at any of them, they would have been killed on the spot. What happened? What happened? Is Yi Shiwen dead? People anxiously want to know the answer. He should be dead. Such a terrifying blow, if it were me. No, he is not dead. The wind and sand gradually dissipated. Everyone saw a strange sight. Wu Chunhai's leg whip hit 3 inches in front of Yi Zaiwen's face, and was blocked by Yi Zaiwen's hands. Wu Chunhai couldn't get close to Yi Shiwen at all. He's too strong. This Yi Shiwen is too strong. Wang Mingjia's eyes couldn't control the shock. When she brought Yi Shiwen back, she never thought that Yi Shiwen would be a top master superior to the 3 major young masters. Maybe others couldn't see it, but she could. Because her and Wu Chunhai's strengths had always been on par. She could naturally tell that Wu Chunhai had gone all out with that move just now. But even though he used all his strength for that blow, it could only force Yi Shiwen to defend himself. Seeing such a large gap, Wang Minjia's beautiful pupils constricted, as if she had seen some incredible miracle. She could tell that Yi Zaiwen's real prowess was in his hands, while he only knew a few simple, basic leg techniques. But he still used a leg technique to face the enemy. How confident was he? Or how arrogant? Was this meant to be a slap in Wu Chenhai's face, or the Wang family's? Then I will make it a slap in your face. Isn't your leg technique your pride? I just broke your leg technique directly with a straightforward leg technique. Now you aren't qualified to be proud of it anymore. Therefore, even if Wu Chunhai attacked with mighty storm, he would simply use a leg whip to face the enemy. Although Wang Mingyu hadn't known Yi Shiwen for a long time, she knew that Yi Shiwen was not an arrogant and domineering person. There was only one reason for doing this. Perhaps it was as Yi Shiwen said that he would take care of their disasters if he got paid. This time, Yi Shiwen didn't just have to defeat Chunhai, but also harshly tarnish the Wu family's reputation. And Wu Chenhai's most decisive killing move was only able to force Yi Shiwen to launch an attack. This gap in strength might be even greater than the gap between Wang Feiyun and Wu Chunhai. Was he really just a half-step transcendent realm? Wang Mingyu was a little skeptical. If this was only the half-step transcendent realm, then she felt extremely incompetent. On the other side, Jia Qing, sitting at the Wu family's seats, was a little moved when he saw this scene. He finally stopped focusing all of his attention on Yuan Xuehai. On Yuan Zuhai's side, there was a slight surprise in his eyes, and then a hint of fighting spirit swept through them. The people at the side all felt this way, let alone Wu Chunhai, who was in the middle of the arena. He immediately felt that Yi Shiwen was not using his full strength. He immediately felt the despair Wang Feiyun felt when they fought just now. It made it hard for him to catch his breath. It was the despair felt when in the face of an opponent who was practically impossible to defeat. Don't be arrogant. Wu Chunhai yelled with fury. The thought of Yi Shiwen daring to underestimate him and not show his true strength enraged him. He transformed his figure in midair and immediately relaunched an offense. He swept up leg shadows that filled the sky and rushed toward Yi Shiwen. It was a pity that Yi Zaiwen's speed was faster. He kicked out his leg whip again, but this time it was no longer just for defense. It went straight through the boundless leg shadow storm. Wherever it passed, the leg shadow storm flattened one after another. Yi Zaiwen's leg whip was like a raptor from the abyss, and it instantly kicked Wu Chunhai in the chest. Boom! There was a dull muffle, and Wu Chunhai let out a scream. His body was like a cannonball, flying back to the direction he came until he fell to the ground. No one could tell whether he was dead or alive. Everyone saw that Wu Chenhai's chest had caved in. Obviously, all the ribs on his chest had been instantly broken by the kick. The livestock is courting death. For a mere test of strength, how dare you act so violently? In the Wu family seats, a terrifying figure instantly leapt out. Chapter 843. Tip of the iceberg of Yi Zaiwen's power and overwhelming aura enveloped Yi Shiwen. If he were slightly less powerful or had a weaker mentality, fear would render him motionless. Transcendent Realm 5th level? Yi Shiwen squinted his eyes, and an imperceptible blood-colored glimmer enveloped his body. The aura seemingly soared to the sky, couldn't even get into contact with Yi Zaiwen's body. Isn't this cultivation similar to that of the city lord of Xian City? Stop. From the Wang family's seat, a figure leapt out. It was the Wang family master, Wang Yanghua, who instantly stood in front of Yi Shiwen and stopped that person's offense. Only then did Yi Shiwen see that man's appearance. That man was a graceful middle-aged man who resembled Wu Chunhai slightly. Wang Mingyu had introduced that man to him just now. It was Wu Nanjia, the current Wu family master, who was one of the current strongest top masters on South Initiate Island, and also Wu Chenhai's father. What's the matter, Wang Yanghua? Do you want to protect him? Said Wu Nanjia, staring coldly at Wang Yanghua. How can this be called protecting? Did you forget what you said earlier? A saber does not discriminate. Anything can happen during a duel. If you are afraid of getting hurt, then don't take part. Wang Yanghua said this lightly, but on the inside he felt smug. When the Wu family said that it made the Wang family feel so aggrieved, they couldn't say a word because there was nothing wrong with the Wu family's statement. But now the situation was reversed. Instead, it was the Wang family who was saying this. This was not only a harsh retaliation, but also a slap in the Wu family's face. Didn't you arrogantly use this as an excuse just now? Let's see what else you have to say now. Wu Nanjie just forcibly held back his anger. At this time, there was nothing he could do. He wanted to kill Yi Shiwen by surprise while everyone was not paying attention. By then, the Wang family would be furious, but would they turn against the Wu family over an outsider kid? Moreover, although Wu Chenhai's hatred for Yi Shiwen angered Wu Nanjie, the real reason he had to kill Yi Shiwen no matter what was because of the slot contest. Yi Shiwen was so powerful that he felt threatened. Wu Chenhai was already an outstanding figure in Wu family, but he had been easily defeated as if it was a game. The Wu family wouldn't be able to find anyone else who could suppress Yi Shiwen. If they couldn't completely suppress the Wang family, then wouldn't all their efforts over the years be in vain? This was the main reason behind Wu Nanjie's action. Who knew that Wang Yanghua had also been staring at Wu Nanjie at all times, as if he knew what Wu Nanjie was thinking, and had immediately leaped out to stop Wu Nanjie. Yi Shiwen was also slightly surprised. Although he was very confident that even if he couldn't beat Wu Nanjie would not be able to catch him, he didn't expect Wang Yanghua to appear in time. However, this was also a good thing. It was better to show fewer trump cards. For him, whether it was the Demon Qi Bomb, the speed of the Demon Wings, or the recovery speed of the Phoenix regeneration technique, these were the few trump cards he could use to roam the ancient Baron's mainland. The others were not good enough. Wu Nanjie shot a fierce glare at Wang Yanghua and Yi Shiwen, and then returned to the Wu family seats. He sent Jia Qing a voice transmission. Junior nephew Jia, it's time for you to take action. As long as you can kill Yi Shiwen, then our Wu family will reward you generously. Except for the spiritual volcano slot, all other remunerations will be doubled. As soon as Jia Qing heard this, he immediately became serious. Right now, he cared about the spiritual volcano slot. Still, he might not care about it 50 years later because bathing in the spiritual volcano was only useful for people below the Transcendent Realm 3rd level. After the 3rd level, the effect was not pronounced, so the 3 major clans only used it to train new people. 50 years later, his cultivation might have long surpassed Transcendent Realm 3rd level, so naturally he was not interested in it. But what about the other rewards? He was interested. Those would be useful no matter what cultivation. Of course. Even if it's for the sake of Senior Brother Wu's teachings at Sea Dragon Mansion, I also can't watch this person behave arrogantly to the Wu family. Leave it to me. I will make him pay for how he crippled disciple Wu. Jia Qing said with a cold smile on his face. TSK, he's mighty. Even with Wu Chenhai's strength, nothing could shake him. What level of strength has he reached? It's simply unimaginable. Yes, Wu Chenhai is not a weakling. Despite how powerful Wang Feiyun is, he still suffered a crushing defeat in Wu Chenhai's hands. But the crushing defeat Wu Chenhai suffered in Yi Ziwen's hands was no better than how badly Wang Feiyun was defeated. Yes. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe that it could be so terrifying. When you put it that way, the news that came from the Wang family may have been true. Wang Feiyun couldn't even stop one of Yi Ziwen's moves. Seeing that Wu Nanjie and Wang Yanghua had returned to their seats one after another, it was as if the lid of the pot had been blown off. Everyone immediately began to discuss it. Whether it was by how Wu Chenhai had easily defeated Wang Feiyun, or about how Yi Shiwen had easily defeated Wu Chenhai just now, they all felt astonished. They were all Transcendent Realm 1st level peak, but there was such a vast difference in strength. This Yi Ziwen's strength could already compete with a Transcendent Realm 2nd level. While everyone was still discussing, Jia Qing leaped directly into the arena. In the next battle, let me play with you. Jia Qing looked at Yi Shiwen with slight amusement, as if he was also trying to figure out how a half-step Transcendent Realm could compete with a Transcendent Realm Master. Enjoy your last few breaths in this world. You might not get the chance to later. said Jia Qing a little impudently. He did not take Wu Chenhai's easy defeat just now to heart because he would be able to do so too. Arrogant, said Yi Shiwen coldly, but his gaze became solemn. It was because he could feel how threatening Jia Qing was, unlike Wu Chenhai just now. The difference between Wu Chenhai and Jia Qing was too great. When he was in true martial domain back then, the Star Beast avatar had defeated and killed many people in this caliber of strength. But now he was facing a real Transcendent Realm second-level master. He had integrated the Star Beast's flesh and blood, and was confident that he could handle weaker Transcendent Realm second-level warriors, but this was his guess. In a real battle, he didn't know how true that would be. However, it only became solemn. This Jia Qing was not a life-threatening nemesis. He had the Phoenix regeneration technique. As long as he wasn't facing an enemy that could kill him in one move, he wasn't too concerned. Arrogant? You won't be saying that in a moment, sneered Jia Qing. Suddenly, a long saber appeared in his hand, and the sky shook with a clang. The moment the long saber appeared, Jia Qing's figure suddenly moved. The long saber shot out instantly, his body following the blade. In an instant, he pounced on Yi Shiwen. The long saber in his hand released a saber aura that turned into an endless monstrous wave in midair, and it hurtled toward Yi Shiwen. Brother Yi, be careful. This is a famous Sea Dragon Mansion saber technique called wave-breaking saber technique. The sword momentum is hard to match. At that moment, Wang Menjia's heads-up sounded in Yi Zaiwen's ear. Only then did he know that this saber technique was called wave-breaking saber technique. So what if you know it? Watch how I destroy you. Jia Qing didn't care that others knew about his saber technique. This saber technique was not top secret. Many people at Sea Dragon Mansion knew it too. It was nothing to be secretive about. Jia Qing's offense was harsh. He didn't hold back at all. He was aiming to eradicate Yi Shiwen in one fell swoop. The saber aura covering the sky turned into monstrous waves gaining speed as they approached Yi Shiwen. Their force was so great that they could blast a mountain to absolute pieces. A long sword suddenly condensed in Yi Zaiwen's hand. It was wholly condensed from sword will. He yelled softly, "Burial sword!" Clang! 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 The swords made rattling noises. The long sword in Yi Zaiwen's hand instantly formed many light swords out of thin air in the void. They suddenly gathered together like a long river, and slammed into the monstrous aura ahead. Boom! Yi Zaiwen's sword river directly blasted a massive hole into the monstrous saber waves, which then collapsed. The saber's shadow was utterly destroyed. Jia Qing suddenly became serious too. He didn't expect that Yi Shiwen could conjure such a terrifying sword momentum. In the fight just now, he couldn't even really see Yi Zaiwen's offense, or rather, he didn't understand Yi Zaiwen's strength. His estimation of Yi Zaiwen's strength was just a faint guess. After all, Yi Zaiwen's combat power far exceeded what he showed on the surface, so it was difficult for people to judge his combat power according to his power realm. At the moment Jia Qing's saber shadow collapsed, Yi Shiwen slammed his toes nonstop, and his figure leaped out fiercely and instantly appeared beside Jia Qing. Jia Qing was also worthy of stepping into the Transcendent Realm second level, and his reaction speed was several times faster than Wu Chenhai's. In the battle between Yi Shiwen and Wu Chenhai just now, although Yi Shiwen had been the one leading the battle, the one who kept attacking was Wu Chenhai. Yi Shiwen just kept dishing out his tricks and then defeated Wu Chenhai with one counterattack. Wu Chenhai didn't even have time to react. But now Jia Qing could respond in time to Yi Zaiwen's speed. He was worthy of being Transcendent Realm second level. Although Yi Shiwen did not have the demon wings open now, he was already swift. Boom! Jia Qing lifted the saber and blocked Yi Zaiwen's sword will. Chapter 844. Severely injured Jia Qing. Boom! 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 Yi Zaiwen's silhouettes and Jia Qing's silhouettes were like two ghosts shuttling back and forth at high speed in the arena. Except for the major family's elders above Transcendent Realm second level, others couldn't even see traces of the two people fighting. Basically, they could only hear the explosions from constant collisions. It's terrifying. I'm afraid these two people's strengths are already enough to settle the slot contest this time. This is terrifying. Even in the Sea Dragon Mansion ranking tournament, they can rank in the top 100. I didn't expect that this round would end up like this. Everyone seems to be unleashing their fire, not holding back at all. One by one, they went down to the same arena. Did these three major families go all out to win? They don't even care about their reputations. Yeah, but Wang Mingyu and Yuan Xuehai have not taken the stage yet. The Yuan family is still calm, but the Wu family and Wang family are already in a heated battle. I'm afraid they can't be friendly with each other anymore. The two families invited these guests from outside. They are truly top masters. Yes. The most terrifying one is that Yi Shiwen. He's just a half-step transcendent realm, but he's unexpectedly able to compete with a transcendent realm second level. Such a person would be a monster wherever he goes, and I don't know where this monster came from. It wouldn't matter even if Wang Mingyu and Yuan Xuehai took the stage. Victory will probably be decided between these two. At most, they are as strong as Wu Chunhai. It wouldn't matter even if Wu Chunhai came down from the arena. Anyway, no matter what, this matter has nothing to do with us. This is the three major families' matter. No matter which one of them wins, they will not give us another skit. Who cares about him? Let's enjoy the show. Everyone was trying to fix their sights on the two people fighting in the field, but their eyes could no longer keep up. Only by using spiritual sense could they see some shockwaves from the battle. You are quite powerful to be able to contend with me with only half-step transcendent realm strength. You are the most powerful genius I have ever seen, but it is useless even if you are a genius. An undeveloped genius is nothing but an upcoming corpse. Jia Qing said with a cold smile as he cut off Yi Ziwen's offense with one slash and caught a breather. In his opinion, Yi Shiwen definitely couldn't fight for a long time in this kind of battle. This was because even if he didn't use much effort in the previous fight against Wu Chunhai, he was still just half-step transcendent realm. He could make up his combat power in various ways, but the innate gap in the power realm was a lethal factor at that moment. In any case, a half-step transcendent realm master couldn't compete with a transcendent realm second level, in terms of chi volume. If this continued, he would make Yi Shiwen die of overconsumption sooner or later. Although he also wanted to kill Yi Shiwen swiftly and did not want it to end like this, there was no other way. Yi Shiwen was too strong, far stronger than he thought. Otherwise, he had no hope to overwhelm his opponent in the short run. On the inside, he was too shocked. He didn't know which family this monster belonged to. He was this terrifying. A half-step transcendent realm being able to compete with a transcendent realm second level was simply a miracle and utterly unbelievable. Even if I am underdeveloped, it's enough to get rid of you. Yi Shiwen sneered, slowing down from Jia Qing's offense. The battle was changing directions from a rapid pace to a drawn-out battle. Yi Shiwen knew what Jia Qing was planning. However, if Jia Wing were planning to keep fighting until Yi Shiwen exhausted his qi, then it would be a huge mistake. After absorbing the Star Beast's blood essence and bloodline, he was practically a Star Beast in human form now. In terms of qi, he had more than Jia Qing, a transcendent realm second-level master, and not less. This was where his confidence lay. Even compared to a transcendent realm second-level master, he was not inferior. Stop exaggerating. My next move will get rid of you. Jia Qing yelled loudly. After fighting for a while, Jia Qing finally confirmed that Yi Shiwen probably did not have much qi left. Boom! Following his words, a monstrous qi from Jia Qing's body swept out in all directions. The terrifying momentum of transcendent realm from his body also began to target Yi Shiwen. People around them felt the air freeze, and did not know what to say. Jia Qing is about to go all out. Can Yi Shiwen block it? After Yi Shiwen easily defeated Wu Chunhai previously, they began to have hope in winning the championship, especially the Wang family members in the audience. Naturally, they didn't want Yi Shiwen to fall here. At that moment, everyone was worried for him. Get rid of me in one move. Yi Shiwen grinned. Very well. Let's decide who wins with one move. Inside Yi Ziwen's body, a burst of golden divinity covered his whole body. Looking from a distance, he looked as if he was wearing a golden robe. He had immense power, and was about to go all out. What kind of martial arts is this? Yi Ziwen's changes immediately attracted the attention of many onlookers. Naturally, they all noticed the golden robe that Yi Shiwen wore, but it was precisely that piqued their curiosity. They did not know what martial arts Yi Shiwen was practicing. What powerful martial arts? Wang Mingyu murmured while looking at Yi Shiwen. Compared to other people, her sight was naturally much better. Naturally, she knew that it was Yi Ziwen's martial techniques for physical training that could create such an anomaly. But it was precisely because of this that she was even more astonished. She did not imagine that it would turn out like this. Yi Shiwen had not truly revealed his trump cards just now. In other words, Jia Qing did not have the power to force Yi Shiwen to reveal all his trump cards. She had reason to believe that this was probably not Yi Ziwen's trump card either. Otherwise he wouldn't have taken it out so quickly, but this wasn't important. What was important was, what was Yi Ziwen's limit? It seemed like he had no limits. No matter how strong the opponent was, it was difficult to force him to reveal his actual limits and trump cards. Since the beginning, Yi Shiwen had never gone all out. He was testing his baseline. Undoubtedly, his combat power was far beyond the limit that Transcendent Realm's first-level peak could attain, and he was even more overwhelming than the original Star Beast avatar. However, he didn't know exactly how strong he was. He estimated that he was able to contend or even defeat a weak Transcendent Realm second level. And this Jia Qing had just entered Transcendent Realm second level. Although he was much stronger than Transcendent Realm first level in terms of strength, he was at the bottom among Transcendent Realm second level warriors. That was why he was so desperate to get a spiritual volcano slot. As long as he could bathe in the spiritual volcano, he could even reach Transcendent Realm second level peak in one go, granting him the chance to enter Transcendent Realm third level at any time. By then, everything would be different. But for Yi Shiwen, everything would be the same. He had seen through Jia Qing's flaws. Jia Qing's body swelled with aura more terrifying than before. Under his feet, a monstrous wave suddenly emerged. The waves were not condensed with saber aura, but real water vapor in the sky that had gathered here. Everyone suddenly felt that the air became abnormally dry. It was universally known that there was very little water vapor in the air. Hence, the humidity plummeted. Now Jia Qing could capture the water vapor and form a monstrous wave. Who knew how much water vapor had been drawn from how many miles away? It was terrifying. The wave-breaking saber technique he cultivated was a saber technique he had learned on the sea. The more water around him, the more powerful it was. Since he was above the sea, the power would be amplified by a quarter or two. That was why Jia Qing used his qi to extract the surrounding water vapor to form this monstrous wave. Jia Qing stepped on the monstrous wave and looked at Yi Shiwen coldly. The waves under his feet were increasing in size, but they were all under his control. Yi Shiwen, your name is Yi Shiwen, right? You're pretty good to be able to fight with me until now. However, I want you to understand that the Transcendent Realm is Transcendent Realm. If you haven't entered the Transcendent Realm, you are a nobody. Jia Qing said coldly, his face slightly ferocious. His arrogant attitude from before when he didn't take Yi Shiwen seriously had long since disappeared. Wave-breaking technique. Jia Qing yelled violently, instantly waving the long saber in his hand. A glow sparked from the long saber instantaneously. It then expanded in the void together with the wind, growing extremely big. It exuded swift waves that madly swooshed. The surrounding space began to boil like boiling pond water, twisting itself. In front of this terrifying force, it was still boiling. The glow instantly shot out, besieging toward Yi Shiwen. Everyone exclaimed in shock, all marveling at the wave-breaking technique. Can Yi Shiwen still handle this move? The Sea Dragon Mansion disciple is not to be underestimated. This martial technique is far from being comparable. This trick could even destroy a Transcendent Realm second-level warrior on the spot, if he were not careful. Then I will show you the way nobody counterattacks. Yi Shiwen sneered. Almost all the qi on his body condensed into a line on the long sword. Invincible sword. Facing the overwhelming saber aura, Yi Shiwen chose to move with his sword, turning into a cold light that pierced through the saber aura covering the sky. At that moment, Time seemed to freeze and then shattered in an instant. Boom. A terrifying energy swept out in an instant, forming a massive energy ball. It spread in all directions, setting off countless flying sand and rocks. PFF. A figure flew upside down, spurting out a mouthful of blood. It was Jia Qing. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.